You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
How about the Jacksonville Rays? What a story. What a wild story. It's kind of, we shared the story in the show yesterday, and then all of a sudden it starts taking on some more legs. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. Now, Jacksonville guys, which was really the start of it. And in my mind, when this happened, it was like, yeah, okay, a Jacksonville investor and obviously dream finders, and he's got a lot of money, and okay, you get an investor. That's the way it works. But it didn't mean Jacksonville to me. Like, it never even, it's not like it never crossed my mind, but it just doesn't mean Jacksonville in that sense. There are a lot of people in Jacksonville that have business interests outside of the city limits of Jacksonville. And so the whole move to Tampa thing was like kind of wild. But then there are some interesting legs to this. First of all, to have an ownership group that consists of Ken Babby as well. That came out after our show with the Jumbo Shrimp. So that's a name people know. And obviously, the Dream Finders Home founder. And I think the Woody move is a fun thing for a day and probably still is, but it's not happening. I mean, I said it yesterday afternoon. I mean, they're two different things, right? An ownership group being from here and also moving a team here. Shad Khan does own a team in London. It's a soccer team, okay? He didn't move them here. But the other part of this to me is like what happens with the Jumbo Shrimp. And this was a good question the newsroom actually raised, and I wasn't really thinking this way, but like what happens to the Jumbo Shrimp? Can Babby own minor league franchises in Ohio and Jacksonville and be a whatever percentage owner of a major league team? I really didn't even know the answer to that. Now, I checked into it, and what I understand is that the whole dynamic changed years ago, and so it's not a problem unless Major League Baseball thinks it's a problem. So it doesn't seem like it would be, hey, you got to sell the Jumbo Shrimp and the Akron team, the Rubber Ducks, if you want to be a part of this. Plus, doesn't it sound like there are a lot of different investors? And that's the other part. Everybody missed the Tampa investors as well. Like, if you have Tampa investors, well, those are the guys that are probably going to keep it in Tampa, and they want to keep it in Tampa. Zalupski is a guy that obviously has a lot of money, and I think he's got a lot of cachet. He's on the board of trustees with Florida, and he also is a friend of Governor Ron DeSantis, and so there's some stuff there that makes it, hey, money, connections. This guy would be a good guy to have in our group. He also does building for a living in terms of construction. So if you're building a new stadium or anything around it, makes some sense. Babby has some baseball background, all this other stuff. So it's a pretty wild story, kind of a fun story for a day. And some interesting remarks. It's so fun. I didn't think this one would get as much commentary as it got, but I think people really jumped into it and had some fun with it. Jacksonville and Tampa don't have an MLB stadium, but Orlando does. I don't even think the Orlando thing. Orlando's been pushing hard.
Yeah, they have.
To get a team. They have. There's a group.
Barry Larkin and all them.
That's been pushing hard. And I mean, would that happen? Could that happen? I guess it could. I mean, heck, they didn't even keep spring training. Orlando's an interesting town because it's obviously a bigger market, centralized, all this stuff, but it also just has the Orlando Magic. And baseball in Florida hasn't been great attendance-wise to begin with. Just let's start there. Unlike hockey, attendance-wise has been very good. So, yeah, I think this has Tampa written all over it. And let's be honest. If you could take Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, you could build a state and find a way to build it. I mean, Tampa would probably be the first choice for a Major League Baseball ownership group and stadium. They've got more infrastructure. It's bigger, and they've got the Fortune 500 and people volume to be able to go. That's the problem in Jacksonville for this. This is a math problem for Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. You just don't have enough people to go fit 30,000 for 81 dates, and you don't have enough corporate sponsorship to help support that. Not yet. In 10 years, maybe you do. I still think in 10 years, your best play is expansion in the NHL, perhaps. If that happens, that's your best play. You have to go from getting 6,000, 7,000 a Niceman game to 17,000 a game for 41 dates. And by the way, there's an illustration that hockey really works in Florida. So a better illustration than baseball works in Florida, oddly enough. So, listen, I'm a baseball guy. You're talking. This would be unbelievable, but it's not happening in Jacksonville. I also thought it was kind of cool. The city actually came out and was like, hey, they didn't say, no way, it's not going to happen in their statement, which didn't really say a whole lot, but I actually said, at least they didn't shut the door. Like anything's a possibility down the road. So that's cool. I like that the Tampa Bay Rays actually did acknowledge that they're having discussions and didn't say, oh, we don't know what the hell you're talking about, right? So there's some interesting deals with this going on, and I think it's kind of fascinating to look at. And I think the Tampa Bay Rays are going to stay in Tampa. I think they're going to figure it out. You got to remember now, this is an ownership group that actually been pretty successful in Tampa. And I don't know all about it, but they obviously don't spend money. They spend like $70 million a year. So they don't try to win that way, but they have an incredible front office and coaching staff over the years that I think has the third most wins since 2008 in big league baseball. That's incredible given the dynamic of what they have. They have a terrible stadium. It's awful. I think it's just bad. There's no vibe at all. So they don't sell well. They don't draw well. And it's in a bad spot, obviously, or they would draw better. And they don't spend any money. And they win. It's unbelievable. That dude doesn't deserve that. Mm-hmm. You take Shad Khan, who can't win, and all the money he spends around here. This dude's been more successful in 20 years. So they want to get rid of the ownership group. Major League Baseball's trying to get rid of it. That's been a thing now for months. And then obviously they're trying to figure out the stadium stuff. So everybody thinks it's staying in Tampa. Anybody you talk to in Tampa is thinking that way. And I would suggest that they are correct. But it was a fun, I'm not sure the story's over, but I think it was just kind of like a fun 15-hour, 24-hour type thing. Still is. That's interesting to talk about. And what it does is it raises, will Jacksonville ever get another, what you would call a pro team? We have pro teams. We have the Iceman, we have the Jumbo Shrimp. Those are pro teams. But I think the four major sports teams. And then the others will say, well, MLS and WNBA. And okay, that's fine. You want to expand that 4 to 6. I could see that. But keep in mind now, the WNBA dollars are way up. And you've got to wonder if that's a Caitlin Clark really on Clark and even
bad
Reese
time
or
to
something.
buy a team.
Is it a bad time to buy? Because if you don't have Caitlin Clark or whenever, if she gets hurt or whenever she leaves, now for the next 15 years or 10 years, she's probably not leaving. But or we're going to have a lot more Caitlin Clarks come up because of the Caitlin Clark impact. Now that's something you could buy into and you could make a wager on if you're an ownership group, but it's expensive. There is some thought that they're doing the Upshot League because they don't want to do the WNBA stuff yet. Essentially, because they want to test run this in the market at least a less expensive rate, and it's not going to be apples to apples, of course, but it'll probably give them some feedback of where that could go. I still maintain hockey; it makes a lot of sense. NBA doesn't make sense. You have Orlando right down the road. I don't think this is an NBA town. I'm not telling you it's a hockey town, but I think it could become one. Tampa and Florida Panthers have proven that if you win. And you can win more immediate in hockey. Everybody seemed to prove that, right? From Las Vegas to Tampa. So I just don't think we're getting anything anytime soon. I'm talking about 2035 to 2040. What does the city look like? It's going to be a different landscape. We've talked about that a lot. So how many people are living here? What is that vibe like? What does it look like? And then what does NHL look like? What does expansion look like? What does MLS look like? What does WNBA look like? Those are probably the viable candidates to eventually get that second team in Jacksonville. You'd like baseball, though, wouldn't you, Hamby?
Yeah, it'd be great. I think I'd, still root against them whenever they played everybody but the Braves, obviously. But I wonder what the average person who goes to 5 Jumbo Shrimp games a year, how many times they'd go to if it was the Jacksonville Rays, and whether that would increase across the board or only for certain, fans and certain families, because a lot of the reason that the Jumbo Shrimp draw so well is not just particularly because they're great on the field and they have won 8 in a row and really making a surge.
Yeah, they're one back now, by the way. But kind of make this next week really interesting with 4 games to go at home.
Right. But it's mostly the fan experience.
Absolutely.
It's just being at a baseball game.
Very few people know what we just told you, that they've won 8 in a row and are 1 game out from clinching a playoff spot next week.
For the first time, right? In the
well, yeah,
Jumbo
it's only been
Shrimp?
a few years for the in the AAA.
Right.
At least.
Okay,
and maybe even in the Jumbo Shrimp. Yeah, that's a good call. I wasn't thinking that way. But definitely AAA has just been a couple of years.
Yeah.
So.
But regardless, people, most of their is, you don't have a ton of people who are following those players, year in and year out. Obviously, the turnover is the turnover, so that makes it even more difficult. But you're going to be at a baseball game for the atmosphere, for the affordable part of it, where, it's just a good night out or whatever. You take the kids, whatever. Does that increase it if it's a major league team for 75% of the people? I don't think so. I just don't. I mean, for a lot of people, I'd go 5 times, and I don't, go to a ton of Jumbo Shrimp games, but I just don't see there being we're going to be there 41 times or 81 times a year, anything like that, because it's really just hard to build a fan base, because we think Jacksonville is a baseball town in the sense of we create a ton of baseball product out of high school and all that. We have 2 good baseball programs at the collegiate level with JU and UNF. And we are a sports town in the sense of, a lot of the people that live here have lived in major cities. They came with their teams. But how are you going to just create a new team with a fan base that, if you polled Brent, what would you say? In Jacksonville right now, where does X amount of people are Braves fans?
Well, most of them are Braves fans, I think. Although I would use this, like a lot of people think, this is why we've shifted from a college town in football too. Like Nocatee is one of the fastest growing areas in the country and has been for the last few years. 80% of those folks, about 80%, are outside of the state of Florida, which means they don't give a damn about Florida or Florida State football. Right. Or Miami football or Georgia football, quite frankly. So, well, maybe Georgia a little bit. But so I think the same could be said. But you're talking about the Atlanta has a national appeal like the Cubs because they're always on TV, and also that southeast part is really just where else are you going for baseball, major league wise. Like Atlanta has that, really the whole southeast cornered, so anybody coming from so it's probably a bigger number. It's probably the most. I would say the Yankees and Red Sox are probably pretty damn close to being second and third. Right. Just because you're figuring the northern folks are coming down, maybe the Phillies or teams like that. But it's definitely more spread out. I would just raise the question of how many diehard baseball fans are really down here in Jacksonville from a major league level. We know it exists in football. We know everybody's got an NFL team, like 85% of the people in the market. I don't think that's as high for baseball, right? So, the curiosity here is like, if you really were to try to do this in Jacksonville, would you actually not go downtown and move it to St. Johns County somewhere? Because that's where your spending dollars are to be able to maybe afford to do this more. But also, you could pull more from a Daytona area and other areas rather than pulling from South Georgia. Like, I don't think you're getting the South Georgia crew to come down here for baseball, but you might be able to get that Daytona, which has some history there, and even the Orlando market to come up if it's a little bit closer. And by the way, there's an experiment already done here with Atlanta and East Cobb. Like, I don't know how that model has worked. It feels like it's worked okay. I know some people didn't like it, but that model to get away from downtown has actually worked. Unlike, you don't see that much with football. Like San Francisco has that with Santa Clara. Arizona has that with Glendale. But that's not a common model in the NFL and even the NBA and hockey, because those arenas are usually right downtown.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, but it's also you'd have to build a lot around it that I'm sure they wouldn't sign up for. With the Battery, that was the thing that moved the needle of why they were able to move it from downtown into a more residential areas, because they were going to put, obviously 10, 15 restaurants and a bunch of hotels, and everything kind of went together. It was all kind of the same project. If you go into St. Johns County now, there's no kind of equivalent. That's why they would almost have to be pigeonholed into Jacksonville, just because there's, so many restaurants. And And even, obviously Jags fans want the downtown area built up even more. They want more restaurants and more of the new infrastructure.
Well, they do, but that's going to be 10 years. Like, again,
I know, but
until that all happens.
Okay, well, in St. Johns County, there's zero as of right now. It's all new, but there's no, tourism feel. There's nothing,
Yeah, I think you could make. I don't know. It's a blank slate either way.
Well, I guess you're right.
I mean, it's a blank slate either way. So, you've got most of your. If I just gave you the thought that 80% of Nocatee is from out of town, I mean, that's the fastest growing market. Go down toward that market. That's what they did with Atlanta. East Cobb was vastly growing, right?
Right.
And so they said that's where your what do they call that? Discretionary income is on the suburbs of Atlanta. And they're more apt to go.
But they did it from scratch.
And they did it from scratch. So, again, it's not happening. Here's the thing. The fun part of this is to talk about it. The reality part is we all know it ain't happening. It's not. We've done the math on it. This, it just isn't common sense for it to happening. Baseball does not make sense in the current landscape and probably even the next 10 or 15-year landscape of the city of Jacksonville. Now, you get me 20, 25 years down the road, I don't know. One thing that's interesting about, there are two things that are, one more note on the Jacksonville part, which I think would be fun. So you're a Braves fan. Your dad a Braves fan?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that trickles down like other sports. I don't think there are kids all over town that are Braves fans. I think it's very spread out. I think you have Dodgers fans and Angels fans for Trout and Ohtani. I think you have Yankees fans for Judge. I just don't think in Jacksonville, in this area, that kids have been handed down the baseball mantle of you root for dad's team. Because we don't live in the city. In Atlanta, you do that. But in Boston, you do that. In New York, you do that. But in Jacksonville, the kids are picking whatever's hot. I told my kids they can't be Yankees fans or I'll send them to their room. Ty ends up hey, I don't want to like the Red Sox, so I'm going to like the Rays. And he likes the Rays. That's what he's grown up on. He really does. He's a real Rays fan. But my point in saying this is I think you could actually rally around a big league team or a hockey team that were to come to town because I think there's less affiliation. And in football and with Jacksonville, with all these people that come from out of town,
you feel like
the Jags are their second team, right? And cool, it's cute, it's good, it's fine, you need it, and they like it. They root for the Jags, but they also are but I like the Steelers first,
right?
But I like the Giants first. Almost everybody you walk into and talk to about this will say that. And then you got your Jacksonville people, my kids now are Jags, because they've been going and they were raised here. But there's a reason why we send them to games so they could be a fan of the Jags. My point is, if you have a hockey team, there's very few kids right now that are diehard, Rangers fans.
Right.
Very few people that are kids that are diehard, name your baseball team fans. So I actually think it would be a cool market to really get a lot of homegrown fans. That, again, would take time, much like we've seen with the NFL franchise here. That takes time, takes a cycle, takes a generation or even two, that you could really long-term project it, that you got this place going nuts for whatever your team is in that sport, because you're really starting from a pretty blank canvas, which I kind of like. I think that would be cool.
And we've had this discussion before on the show. I remember it's baseball, the lineage and the passing down of the team just in general is way less than it used to be because we are following the star across all sports more than we ever have. We're following individuals more than teams, right? That never used to really be a thing. You might go to a game just because an opposing player was in town, but you sure as heck weren't going to follow them and switch your fandom and your loyalty over to that team. And it makes me think, if baseball were to come to Jacksonville, maybe one of the single greatest, necessities for success is to immediately go get a star, because the Rays, as they consist right now, have no star players, right? It's almost their mantle as they are great with a bunch of no-namers.
Well, they don't re-sign them if they've got them.
Right.
Or some go to prison.
Well, that too. But that certainly wouldn't work here, because you'd have to play into that of, if we're going to get a new team and a lot of the people are not from here, but are not diehard fans of other teams, they will attract to a star player we've got to get one. It's interesting, like they if to relate it to the Jaguars, like the best probably thing they could do was pull a Travis Hunter.
Yeah. Although in today's day and age, to get more fans, Travis Hunter is really helping.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So I get what you're saying there. But again, you're talking about the fandom part. We are talking about the fandom part, which is cool. It's the economic part that doesn't make sense in Jacksonville. The one thing I will say, and even in Tampa, like that, Fenway Park is not a big place. I think they sit 34, squeeze in 36, something like that. I think like the middle of the pack attendance in baseball, which would be pretty good, right? 15th or something like that, is about 28, 29,000 fans in whatever stadium that is. So I really think if you look and project at pro sports and attendance and all the different things that we have to keep us busy.
30,000.
The average is 30?
That's what, in 2024.
Well, I would suggest that when you build new ballparks, and again, this is probably not going to fit their economic model because more seats equal more money.
Yeah.
But I would suggest that from a supply and demand standpoint, you build like a 25,000 seat stadium or a 27,000 seat stadium in Tampa even, or in wherever you're building new stadiums or wherever you expand to or whatever that is. But you build one under that median range of 30 because you just don't want it empty. You want to create buzz. You want to create that this thing's packed all the time. Look what the Rays have done. 10,000 seat stadium that they're playing at the Yankees facility.
Just feels different.
It's 10,000, right? So it's nothing, but it feels like something. And they can actually say they've sold out 28 out of 36 home dates.
Yeah.
But if they really like to get 20 at Tampa, it would feel pretty good.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to put 35,000 at Tampa, it doesn't feel great.
You know which
right?
which team has the biggest capacity in MLB?
I don't, obviously, but I want to guess. So I make a claim and say it's the Dodgers.
It is, by a long shot.
Yeah, it's big stadium. I just was there last year.
Average attendance last year was 48,000.
Yeah, that's a big one. Like, again, the Red Sox.
48,000.
The Red Sox have to squeeze like 34, 35, maybe 36,000 in, and they do. But they have to squeeze that many in. That's why that's a tough ticket. Like, it's a hard ticket to get, even when the Red Sox aren't good, because the Red Sox game's an experience.
Right.
Even to go see Sweet Caroline, like in the 8th inning, is an experience, right? The park itself is an experience. But they don't have 50,000 tickets to that.
Who fudged these numbers? It says Oakland's average attendance was 12,000. That's double what it actually was.
Well, when? Last year?
Yeah.
I told you, I went there to that game last year, and it wasn't bad. Like, the attendance was not bad, which I was surprised. I thought nobody would be there. Maybe it was just because it was the
last year of the Coliseum.
Yeah, and they probably had some high number marks that inflated it, So, anyway, it's a fun topic, but I'd seriously lower the capacity at some of these places and think like Tampa's going to end up getting it. They're going to end up keeping it. They're going to build a new stadium. If you heard Miller and Moulton this morning, they had Tampa. JP
Henderson
and Peterson. I tweeted about him. Show out in Tampa that covers a lot of the Rays stuff, and I guess has a good handle on the Rays stuff. And JP Peterson show out of Tampa, and he was saying, I mean, it's like a foregone conclusion that like they're staying. It's just a matter of where, and they think it's a really good thing that this is going to change. Again, like the ownership group, they don't like the ownership group in Tampa. That's the bottom line. So these guys will be welcomed.
Yeah.
How about the other thing? Really fascinating, and we won't talk much about this.
Please read that comment first.
Which one? The top one?
Yep.
Hockey arenas are smaller.
Nope, below.
Oh, I had the chance to get Rays tickets for $6. I paid $7 for 2. Yeah. Rays tickets are not hard to come by. 16 to 20K average. Connor thinks I stole his idea on the hockey thing. He was just kidding around with me yesterday, but apparently he's been talking about the NHL stuff. Packed house, more exciting sport, less star dependent, and better atmosphere. I think the hockey model is I've been saying this, apologies, Connor, but for a long time before you said it, about hockey. Hockey just makes sense. It makes sense because 17,000 fans. You don't have to rebuild an arena, but you probably have to renovate an arena and update the arena at some point. But 17,000 fans for 41 dates, like that's not bad. That is not bad. And you can home grow that. So you don't need the corporate, the Fortune 500 people, the corporate dollars, the premier seating as much. Like, we have an appetite for that in Jacksonville. That's part of the reason they got this deal done to build a new stadium. And we will continue to have more of an appetite for that. We have people that have money in Jacksonville. There's no doubt about it. So they're willing to spend it on a premium whatever. But do you have enough for 81 dates in a Major League Baseball stadium at 30,000 seats? No, you don't. You just don't. So, again, this is a math equation, and I think hockey someday, but you need expansion. But I'll tell you what, like, isn't there momentum for potentially that? Like, I don't know how good the NHL is doing in general, but they're doing pretty well in Florida. Like, that's for damn sure. And there's already, like a group, I think they're trying to get it back in Atlanta. They're trying to get hockey back in Atlanta. And, again, they're not putting, it's not the time. It's not the time for hockey. Like, it's not, let's get the stadium built in Jacksonville.
Right.
Let's get all that stuff built. But if we were 10 years down the road and they were talking about expansion in hockey, I think Jacksonville would become a pretty viable opportunity in 10 years for something like that. So, yeah, I think YB400 does say that, right? Gritty type of town. I think what Connor did, though, I will say, Connor, and I can't find it right now, but I think he said the Jacksonville Shipwreck as the name. He had like a logo. I don't know where he got that. I don't know if he made that up or if that's been floated around there, but I was like, hey, I kind of like this, which means if I like it, most people probably don't like it. I don't have a good feel for that stuff sometimes. But what a fun story, an interesting story over the last couple of days. And we'll continue to follow it and see where it ends up. I did want to get to a couple of comments. Let me just grab a couple of comments real quick because we really had a lot of feedback. Gigantor in Jack said there's 0% chance this market could support a viable MLB franchise. James Hartman, they would really be upset if we stole the Rays and Liam. That was kind of a fun thing going around yesterday. Jonathan Hopkins, I think downtown revitalization has to succeed first, and then he went on to say some other things. That's true. Chip off the old block, something I believe we all expect, but it's fun to get the Tampa media riled up. Exactly. MLB has no interest in Jacksonville. Jacksonville Jumbo Rays. WNBA team is more realistic. Taking Cohen and the Rays would be a diabolical storyline. And then me poo-pooing the idea of it coming just the reality. People didn't like that because people like the thought of this. And I do too. I appreciate the thought of we just spent a half hour on it, even we know it's not happening. So I kind of like it too. Like, it's a fun topic. It really is.
Sun Rays was a Jacksonville
Sun Rays. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. Anything else that popped down here in Orlando? I'll give you a quick little story. I had a meeting with somebody a couple of years ago, and they were looking to bring baseball to Jacksonville. I don't know where they're at with it now, but they were like, they met with I think they met with Hick too, and they met with me, and they were looking for kind of like a spokesperson to like help trumpet their cause, and it's just like, even there, which was an entertaining idea, and kind of like flattered that they'd even think of me, but like they were passionate about it. They thought it could work. I wasn't on the same page. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, to get an NFL team didn't make a lot of sense when that happened either. Keep that in mind, right? For a lot of folks, that didn't make a lot of sense. And there was like 15 years in advance of like some things that took place to try to go get an NFL team. So when you're looking at getting an NHL team or a Major League Baseball team or something else, these things have to start somewhere. Like Orlando's doing that now and has been for the last couple of years, but it's got to start somewhere. So even if it starts now and it's a futile effort, the idea is that 15 years, 20 years down the road, you are in play and are better situated and ready and all these things. So I appreciate the effort. But there has been talk about something like this for a while. It just, in the current state, just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. You mentioned superstars. Well, we got one of those in Jacksonville, Travis Hunter. You'll hear my conversation with him as I caught up with him yesterday. He was at a Hey Dudes event at Dick's Sporting Goods in the town center, and he gets paid to wear them. I just pay to wear them. But we do have that in common. It's probably the only thing we have in common is we both wear Hey Dudes. And 100 people out there. It's kind of a quiet event, but also, if you follow Travis Hunter, you heard about it. and a fun moment for some fans getting to meet Travis. We'll talk a little football. And a little bit later on, he'll talk a little bit about fishing when we have Paul Dozier in here on the show today. We'll talk receivers as our position group. Look at that little girl. She's so cute. And we might hear from Edgar Bennett. That's like a long conversation, and I know we've already heard a little bit from Edgar Bennett, but depending on how deep we get into the receiver conversation, we also have a Daniel Griffiths article, and he, ironically, didn't even ask him to, but he's talking wide receivers today, too. So we got a lot to get to. Austin will join us in the noon hour from down in South Florida. Hamby's here. It's like one of 7 days and 7 weeks that Hamby's here, so you might want to celebrate it. We'll be back on the Brent and Austin Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. And most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Most of us know how to throw. but you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
There you go. Patrick Zalupski in the news. Dream Finders Homes CEO and founder Ken Babby, too. That's the big story. And but we'll shift from it. We did talk a lot about it. And if you want to talk a little bit more about it, we can get to it eventually. But we just want to have some Travis Hunter conversation coming up. Maybe a little more baseball talk like, the College World Series, feel bad for Arkansas. I don't know how you can't feel bad for Arkansas. And I feel like baseball is one of those sports where like you feel bad for the guy who messes up maybe more than even other sports because it's just you're so lonely out there. and there's a little bit of that yesterday. That was hard to watch, especially if you don't have a dog in the fight. And so we'll get to that. And we've got that's the young man from Arkansas, man. You're seeing that a lot. You love the glory of it, but this is the other side of it, and where you're almost like, gosh, I wish I didn't put this on TV. Right.
For sure.
I mean, it was some of those moments yesterday. And might have a bigger question, actually, of like, what are some of the moments that make you cringe in sports, right? Like that happened yesterday, especially, again, if you don't have a dog in the fight. Before we do all that, and before we get to Travis Hunter and my conversation with him, I think we're the only ones to talk to him again. We're on the Travis Hunter beat. He's going to get tired of me eventually. But we'll get to him. We got a lot of fishing and other things to get to today, and also will join us in the noon hour. But let's go down to Jaguars headquarters. I think we're at the Flex Field or the indoor. I don't know exactly where we are, but I know Olivia.
Electric Center there. Brent.
Miller Electric Center. There we go. That's a good place to be.
Yep.
And Olivia Tassley is there, and they've got a fun morning with the Jaguars and what they're doing in conjunction with the Special Olympics. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so I'm here with Michael. He is the Community Impact Senior Manager, new title, so I had to write it down to make sure I got it right. So this is a fun event, 6 years going on. We have nearly 40 athletes waiting outside, getting ready to check in. First and foremost, bring me through the schedule of events that these guys are going to go through.
Well, yeah, so we got 40 Special Olympics athletes coming today. They're going to walk into the Miller Electric Center lobby here. We got props set up to our right. They're going to get some photo opportunities here in the lobby with this backdrop, and then they're going to head directly to the team meeting room where we have a big surprise. We have contracts for them to sign. They're becoming Jaguars for a day. They're going to get custom jerseys, some Jaguars swag, and then from there we're going to walk them through the locker room, the weight room, and then out into the indoor field where they're going to have an hour-long practice with this year's rookie class.
That's awesome. So how far out do you start planning this event? Because it's a full day of events for these kids.
Well, we sometimes start, tomorrow we might start talking about the next year and how to make it bigger and better. So, us in the Community Impact Department always thinking about ways to make things bigger and better, and it might start tomorrow.
So you got to write all the notes down today and then start looking ahead to 2026. Yep. All right, out of all the things that you could do with these athletes, out of all the events that you could do, 6 years of becoming a Jacksonville Jaguar, why this event?
So this one is just extra special to our department. It actually was the brainchild of an organization called Fantasy Camp for Kids, and we've worked with them. They helped us get things off the ground in year one, and then have been a great partner ever since. And in the last couple of years, Ticketmaster has come on and really just supported us in a number of different ways to help grow this, make it bigger and better. And they've just been a great supporter of this event, so we love it, and that's why we've made it an annual thing.
So you said later on in the day they'll get to meet the rookies. Have any of these athletes been starstruck before meeting some of these rookies, just being around NFL players? Do you remember any of those moments?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think it is like once they sign their contract, they're part of the team, and they just jump right in, and it is all one team once they hit the field. So it's really cool to see.
I assume the feedback that you get from either guardians or the athletes themselves has to be above and beyond. Has any comment really stuck with you throughout the years of doing this event?
I don't know if there's one single comment. It's just it's definitely a day full of thank yous at the end. But this is something that we just really love to do, and just so happy to host all these athletes here on this day.
What's your favorite part about this day? I'm sure there's a lot, because I've been to a couple, and just seeing them smile, I think for me it's putting on their jersey and all that stuff. But what about for you? What's your favorite part?
There's definitely, I think, when they first walk into like the team meeting room later and see their jersey and see the gear that they're getting, and then along the tour, I think just those kind of moments where the eyes get really wide, and I think those are probably the best moments of the day.
What's the biggest takeaway you hope these athletes walk away with at the end of the day?
I hope that they just remember this experience. I think, when they're at home and see the jersey hanging in the closet or the contract, on their desk in their bedroom, just remembering how amazing this day was, and, what we've been able to provide and do for them.
Perfect. Well, I hope you get all of that out of this event today. Get the notebook ready, because we'll be taking notes to make sure next year is always bigger and better for these guys. They absolutely deserve it. That was Michael with the Jacksonville Jaguars Foundation. Guys, let's go back to you.
All right, thanks, Liv. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. We'll check back out there at Jags headquarters with some of the events going on this morning. And my understanding is Caleb Ranstaw is going to talk a little bit later as part of the rookies and on their behalf about this event today. So we might be able to check in with the Jaguars rookie safety later on in the show, probably in the noon hour, if things go according to schedule. If not, we'll have more on it tonight. CBS 47 and Fox 30. Speaking of the Jags rookies, we had a chance, obviously, to spend a little time with Travis Hunter again yesterday. Very little time. It was kind of a quick moving thing, but it was a good spin. So the story here is that, and you might want to play some of this video as I toss into our, I don't know if we can do both, Hamby, because you're going to see me on camera first, or if you want to take like the tower cam shot, because that bothers me when you see me and then you see me in a different place. So whatever you got to do to figure it out. But they had the D line there. That's a big Hey Dude shoe. So the story here is Hey Dude saw Travis wearing them at the Heisman ceremony. Uh-huh. And so they're like, we got to do something with this guy. And, well, here we are. They're doing something with this guy, and then obviously Dick's Sporting Goods too, and that was the event at the town center. So they gave out like 100 wristbands. People waited in line in the morning. They sold them in not sold them, but they gave them out in minutes. And then yesterday afternoon into the evening, there was a little meet and greet with Travis Hunter, and we had a chance to meet and greet as well and catch up a little bit about what was going on there. You'll get a little Duval or Dudeval as well.
We've been hanging around with Travis Hunter quite a bit. Get used to that, man. We're going to see you quite a bit.
Yeah, yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, change Duval into Dudeval. Mm-hmm. You're going to start a thing here today.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. They're good to hear that wherever I go.
Hey, what about how you've embraced Jacksonville, but how Jacksonville has embraced you so far?
Oh, I love it. The weather is nice. I get to go out here and do what I love to do. So I definitely love it.
How much have you interacted with Jags fans, and what's that like so far?
Everywhere I go, is pretty much they see me and they come and always want to take a picture. So I try to get as much pictures as I can, and it's been real fun.
We just talked to you a few weeks ago, but from the start of this thing when you got drafted to now from a football standpoint, how much have you progressed?
How much I've progressed? I've progressed a lot. I love it here, like I said earlier. I love it here. It's very exciting. I'm very excited to be here, and I just love just doing what I do every day.
You feel comfortable with everything that you're consuming at the moment from a football standpoint?
Yeah, I feel very comfortable.
What you do now in the summer? You guys are still kind of in school, right? The rookies are.
Yeah. We still up there. I still go in and do my studying with my coaches after I get done with all the obligations we have during the day.
Trevor mentioned that he's going to throw with you quite a bit this summer. You said you're staying in town, so can you get a lot more work done even though you guys aren't organized at the
team facility?
Yeah, we definitely get a lot more work done. You know, I got his number. He called me whenever he need me to come by the house or whenever we need to go get some work in. So I definitely be getting a lot of work in with him.
All right, I asked 2 questions today on my show. I said, will there be a game this year that Travis Hunter plays more on defense than offense? What do you think?
I don't know. We got to wait and see.
Will there be a game where he plays 100 snaps in a game?
Yeah, hopefully.
Hey, AEW, you going to get in the ring?
Nah, I'm not getting in the ring. I'm supporting though.
How about that, man? He came like decked out with the AEW stuff. I was like, maybe he's a big wrestling guy, but he's just he's supporting.
He's
just supporting the brand.
That's it.
He's supporting the company, if you will. So that's Travis Hunter. We'll have a little bit more with him from that interview on the fishing side of things coming up when we have our Let's Go Fishing segment presented by Nimnick Buick GMC and Armor Guard Exterior. And we're going to extend that a little bit because the old school Kingfish Shootout and that event, and that will be coming up in the 11 o'clock hour here today. But let's talk about Travis Hunter a little bit more because why not? I do love hearing. I like hearing the fact that the communication from Trevor to him, and hey, they're going to get together and they're going to work on this thing, and the timing and the chemistry and all those things. Because he's a guy that moves different. Like that's why he's the player he is. He moves different.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fascinating part of it with quarterbacks is that, okay, you got to know the system. You got to be on time. You've got to get protected. You've got to, step up and make a throw. But you also have to adapt your throwing to not only the way your guy moves, but the ability of the guy that's guarding him. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, how hard is it to play quarterback? Think about that. Think about all the stuff that has to go into it. And I just think the body movements, the trust factor of, okay, I know this guy's going to be here, I think is an important part of it for them to get down. And the more you can do it, the more you can rep it, the more you're going to see. It's going to be better in December than it is in September. Absolutely. It's going to be better next year than it is this year. But where can you get the jumping off point, right? Where can that base level be? I think is pretty important to see. So, our position group look, I feel like we don't have to spend a lot of time on it today because we've been talking a lot about wide receiver. We know the Jags, I think, would you call the Jags pretty loaded at wide receiver?
No.
No. How would you identify it?
Potentially top 5.
Potentially loaded.
Yeah, potentially loaded. I'm not ready, man. I mean, the guy's never played in the NFL. I mean, look, it's just the facts of the matter. I can't expect him to go out there and give me a 1,200-yard season in his first year, especially when he's going to be playing defense. Like, he's a great option. I think he's going to be great, but loaded is when you say you could have 3 guys that could hit 1,000 yards. That's loaded to me.
Who has that?
Nobody.
Oh, nobody has that. So that can't be loaded. Nobody does that.
Well, I mean, you could have said that, or maybe two 1,300 yards guys and an 800-yard guy. The Seahawks have had that before. It's just I think you need more than 2. And right now, based off of how much the guy's going to be able to play offense, you have 1.
I mean, basically,
you're going to have 2.
Okay, but basically, if you have two 1,000-yard guys, like you're in I think you're in rare air. I don't know how often that happens. Like, I think that feels like it's pretty.
That feels pretty common.
Does it?
I mean,
what did let's just say
Dolphins, Bucks, Bengals, Seahawks, Rams.
Did they all produce that though? Like, what's look up what is his name? Jordan Addison. I got him.
Yeah, he probably.
Like, so what stats? Jordan Addison had 875 last year. Okay, so Justin Jefferson's obviously getting a bundle, but like that's a really good duo.
Yeah.
Like a really good duo. Jalen Waddle, it's going to be a down year for Tyreek Hill and Waddle, I think, last year.
Yeah, but if you look at 2022, 23, I'm
1,000,
sure
1,300, 1,000. So obviously you got it there. Who's the second fiddle guy in these years? It was Lockett. Right?
For now Jigba.
Now, but I mean, Lockett in 22 and 21 at 1,000, in 20 at 1,000, in 19 he had 1,000. Now Metcalf was he a part of all that? That goes back to 22. Let's just double check real quick. 23 he had 1,000, 22 he had 1,000, 20 had 1,000. So twice they did it in Seattle, but it was like right at 1,000. Then we're going, let's go T. Higgins.
Definitely.
2 years of 1,000. Last year, 911, 656 and 23, 1,022, 1,021. Now, Chase, I don't know. When did Jamar Chase get there? Would have been 21. Yeah, 21. He had 1,455, 1,022. So they had 2 seasons. So again, like if you
got the Eagles, but I don't know if Devontae Adams surpassed 1,000.
But my
or
point
Devontae
is,
Smith,
okay,
my bad.
So it's not. I don't know if it's the most rarefied of air to say you have 2 1,000 receivers. But even with all those dynamic names that we just mentioned, those great tandems, it's not like 1,400 and 1,400. It's hard to spread the ball around to that degree. So my point is, like, then you start, and I'm not going to do this right now live on the show, but you start going down, okay, well, what's like the third fiddle guy?
Yeah, loaded.
Like, where does that get you? Now, you can maybe throw tight end in the mix, and now you've got a Kelsey making a factor, or how about a Deebo Samuel and a Kittle and whoever else, right? So you have enough to go get it, but the 3 of them, no. And I'm not sitting here trying to sell De'Ami Brown as a guy who's going to go threaten 1,000 yards. But I do think that the Jags legitimately have 2 guys that you could say talented enough to go get 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Like they legitimately have those 2 guys. Now, where does De'Ami fit into that? How his role is? Does he become more of a Gabe Davis type where it's like a 45, 48, I'm saying good Gabe Davis, 48 catches, and all of a sudden he's got 7 or 8 touchdowns. So now your receiving core has 10, 8 touchdowns. Whoa, okay. That's a career high for Trevor Lawrence just based on that trio. So I think it's, yeah, it's an on-paper question. It's an on-paper statement. But the Jags have the ability to be pretty damn loaded at wide receiver. Here's how I describe it better. Loaded's probably not the best words.
Yeah, loaded, I just didn't say loaded off the bat because to me that word means more than 2.
But again, they have a room that you believe in. So, like, this is a question based more on, obviously, we don't have the performance yet. But do you believe in De'Ami Brown? Well, I'm not sure how much I believe in, like, he's going to be a star, but this franchise believes in him. Like, that's a real investment in him. Like, they think he's really good. Parker Washington, I think the fan base actually believes him. I don't know how much the organization right now believes in Parker Washington. I think the fan base has some hopes for Parker Washington. They can be a big player. So now you got 4 guys. Like 4 guys, that's all you need. I mean, you're not talking about a 5th and 6th guy here. I'm not trying to get there.
Right.
But you've got 4 guys that you really think you can lean on that are going to produce for you. That's a pretty damn good room. What I would characterize it as, I think it could be a dangerous room.
Yeah.
Like, I like that word. Because when I think of that word, I think of a defense that has to adjust for you. I think of a defense that has to game plan for you, that has to notice you. Well, there's no doubt. When you look at Jefferson and Addison, when you look at Hill and Waddle, you think that way. I'm not even sure you think, like, you do think of it, but I don't think of it as top of mind when you're talking about, like, when you were talking about Metcalf and Lockett, I felt like Lockett could be sneaky good. Now, when you have Higgins and Chase, you're game planning.
Right.
When you have now CeeDee Lamb and Pickens, probably game planning.
Yeah.
Right? So this, man, that's cool. Like, that is cool. The Jags, I say this a lot over the years. I say it a lot. I think it a lot. I'm not sure I say it enough. One of the major problems I think the Jaguars have had, as I've covered them over the years, is who are you afraid of? But not even who are you afraid of. Who are you game planning for? Who are you going into the room on a Monday or a Tuesday, or when you get to install whatever on a Wednesday, and you get the team together and you're like, watch out for this dude because that guy scares me coming up on Sunday, the potential of that guy. Well, they actually do have those players now. Like, I think, what was it? Liam Cohen called the game wrecker. Gardick, which is interesting, but he called him a game wrecker. I think the Jags have potential game wreckers now on both sides of the ball. And game wrecker for me, game wrecker's a little loud because game wreckers, you're thinking like, oh gosh, this guy's going to take over the game and win it by himself. That doesn't happen in football. It really doesn't. Now, Aaron Donald is a game wrecker. Right. TJ Watt has been a game wrecker. So those guys, there can be that. Saquon Barkley, game wrecker, I think, last year. But what I more liken it to is we're talking about game planning. Like, who are you breaking the huddle and eyes on them? Well, the Jags on the offensive side, I really believe, have two of them now in Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr.
I'm with that.
The cool part about it is we know they really want to run the ball too.
Yeah.
So you know that as a defensive coordinator, you know that as a defense, so you know they're going to probably try to do that. So that has to be in your head, at least the idea of it. Now, what are they good at it? We're going to find out. We're not sure. But you know that Cohen's going to want to run the ball. But when you break the huddle, eyes are on those two guys, 12 and 7. When you break the huddle on offense and those offensive linemen come out, eyes are on 44 and 41. No doubt. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think if they can get the play from an Armstead, I think their eyes will kind of sway toward him a little bit. Now, do they do that with Tyson Campbell yet? I don't think so. Like, it would be nice if he gets to that stage. Mm-hmm. But legitimately, I think the league would agree. I think everybody would agree, without going over the top and being a homer or anything like that. The Jags now have 4 players, 2 on each side of the ball, that you're breaking the huddle and you're like, where are they? Look out for those guys. Identify, right? Uh-oh. Like, that's legit. And we have not had that in Jacksonville. We just have not. And I'm not telling you there's been none of it. We've had Maurice Jones-Drew since I've been here. So, I mean, we have Leonard Fournette in 2017 had a little bit of that in him. Calais Campbell has played, right? That Saxonville defense had like 5 of those dudes. Jalen Ramsey, Calais, even Jan, Telvin Smith. Like, when he was playing at a high level, you're like, okay, where are these guys at? So you had to worry about them. Jags have not had a lot of that. The cool part about this football team, the way it's built, I think they do have 4 of them and potential to have more of them.
It's ironic that of the 4, I mean, you have 2 position groups. Would you rather that be spread out to different positions, or are you glad that it's 2 receivers, 2 DNs?
I think that's a good question. I think that could be answered in multiple ways. And just a quick comment, Glenn. See, Jimmy and Keenan, I'm talking about since I've been here. I was in here in 2008. So, yeah, they really had that back in the day. You had a bunch of guys. You had Fred and everybody to do that with. I think, and I think I've been consistent with this thought, I love the fact that it's the position group. Because I actually think when you talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars over time, you haven't had a chance to say, hey, we're amongst the best in the league at this. Or we're amongst the best in the league at that. The Jags have had that a little bit with the running back room. They had Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew in the running back room, even when I first got here. They had Maurice Jones-Drew, who led the league in rushing. They had Fournette, who I really think was a threat that year in 2017. They had that Saxonville defense that obviously was one of the best defenses, and for much of that year was the best defense in the National Football League. But again, I've been here 17 years. Like, I should be able to list more than that. And you really got to stretch it to list more than that. I love the fact that they're in the same group, Hamby, to answer your question, because I believe I can say the Jags have, with 2 pass rushers under the age of 27 or going into the prime of their career, 2 edge guys that not a lot of teams have that. Maybe 2 or 3 other teams have that. You know, even Houston, who has that, Danielle Hunter is 32 years old.
Yeah.
Like, he is not in that. Like, this isn't for the next 4 or 5 years. So that's why I want to sign Trayvon Walker, because I want to be able to flaunt that for the next few years, that you have Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker, and we have that on defense, and you know it, and we're coming to get you. On offense now, don't you love the fact that they got 2 22-year-old receivers? I mean, who has that? If Travis Hunter can deliver. Brian Thomas Jr. already has. I mean, you have Higgins and Chase. They ain't 22. Waddle and Tyreek, they're not 22. Metcalf's now whatever. Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, whatever. Nobody in the league has what the Jacksonville Jaguars have potentially at wide receiver if Hunter actually can deliver.
Right.
Because we've already seen BTJ do it.
2 or 3 years ago.
They did.
Yeah.
They don't now. But, I mean, by the way, they've actually got him in a better place. To me, they've got him in their prime,
right?
Which is really a better place to be. But we'll get there, you know? So, like, when you can sit there and say you might have these 4 players. If you take care of them, sign them, they play well. You might have these 4 players that we mentioned for a decade. Well, if you do that and you have the quarterback and he delivers for you, you now have 5 players you can lean on and build around no matter what the salary cap looks like, who retires, who you draft, where you lean on, who's coaching, who's GMing. You have 5 that the rest of the league would build around. Mm-hmm. Like, that is a pretty cool deal to have for Josh is the oldest guy there, I think at 27. I think he's 27 this year. I mean, but he can do this for another 5 years. So let's just say 5 years. You have that for 5 years. And then you're going to have to replace it at some point and get a little younger. But I mean, again, been around here 17 years, haven't been able to do that. Like, you'd love to have tried to do that. We thought potentially you were doing that with Allen Robinson, Marquise Lee, and even an Allen Hurns. Looked that way for a bit. You maybe thought it was happening with a Yannick Ngakoue. You know, Jan and Josh Hines Allen, I said this about for years on my show on ESPN 690. I was like, you can have something that nobody else has. You can have 2 pass rushers at double-digit sacks under the age of 25. Nobody has it. They decided not to get it, and maybe they were right at the end of the day. But I love the concept that they could have it and nobody else had it. So I think the Jags have that wide receiver, which is pretty good. We'll talk a little bit more wide receiver coming up in a bit. We have a Daniel Griffiths article on actionsportsjacks.com about him, and we will do that when Austen joins the show in the noon hour. We're also going to hear more from Travis Hunter, and we know he loves to fish. Is he going to get any fishing time? That's coming up on the other side. Let's take time out. Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network, rocking and rolling here on a Thursday. The old school Kingfish Shootout in the books in record fashion. Plus, Travis Etienne was out there. Tried to become a winner on the water before even Travis Hunter could do so in Jacksonville. We talk about it next.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training, along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajacks.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajacks.org. Don't wait, apply today.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
For the game day hustle and every day in between. Juggling my show, Jag Social, to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
Grab some friends and go to a restaurant or head out for a drink and some conversation. Watch your favorite team play on the big screen. Or how about play some games? You can do all of that in one night at Best Bet. Each location has a different vibe, its own personality, like here at the original Best Bet in Orange Park. When you walk through these doors, everybody knows your name. And here in St. Augustine, it's the newest location. Play some poker. How about the table games? And don't forget about Ace's Sports Bar and Grill. And then there's the Jacksonville location, right here on Monument Road. It's the biggest poker room in the state of Florida. Maybe you'll find yourself a seat right here at the final table. Best Bet, where you can have the best of times. And that makes you always go home a winner. Try any of the 3 locations, and you can always visit bestbetjax.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
A live look at the Special Olympics event at Jags headquarters, the Miller Electric Center. And the Jaguars rookies are a big part of this. And they are helping out today and putting some Special Olympians through a heck of a day, including signing a contract, walking through the facility, the weight room, the locker room, and then being out on the indoor field for about an hour with Jags players. We've been there this morning. We're going to take you there throughout the rest of the show until 1 o'clock. And a heck of an event. We'll have more on CBS 47 and Fox 30. We'll also try to catch up, or at least hear from Caleb Branshaw, the Jaguars rookie, coming up in the 12 o'clock hour. I love those big hats, by the way. We got one of those big hats. I had it for like ESPN 690, so I can't wear it anymore. Well, I mean, I could, but I got to get a new big hat.
There you go.
You got to get an old school Kingfish Shootout big hat.
That's right. That's right.
Brent Martineau now along with Paul Dozier. And see, he's smiling today. You know why?
He's relieved.
Oh, the relief. It's over. The events are over for the year. Well, probably not for the year, but still, 695 boats, record. Weather, a little iffy at times, but got through it. And a big winner, 40-pound kingfish, which, if you could dial it up, that's the way you want to dial it up. A small boat, a family fishing, right in Mayport. They caught the winner. That's what this tournament's all about.
That's what it's all about, buddy. We couldn't have drawn it up much better. Maybe the weatherman could have. All I asked the weatherman to do, Mr. Burris, if you're listening, is tell the truth. Get it right. If it's going to be 3 to 5 foot seas, let's be 3 to 5 foot seas. When they scare the people, and I'm not. Mike Burris didn't scare anybody because he never said this, but there's an app everybody looks at. It's called Windfinder.
Okay.
And Windfinder was showing 15, 18 knots of wind and 3-4 foot seas, and scared a lot of little guys off, a lot of smaller boats off. Ended up being,
rightfully so, if that's what it's going to be.
If that's what it's going to be, it was absolutely glass calm in the morning. It was perfect. The conditions couldn't have been any better. Glassy conditions, bait everywhere, and so.
So how did you get $6.95 then, or was that just what entered and not?
No.
That's
$6.95. I think that there was another few dozen boats that just were in the smaller boats that waited on the weather. That the weather scared them off. I know for a fact.
So you could have got over 7.
We would have been over 7 for sure. I don't know what we could have been. Hey, we're extremely grateful. It's a new record. It was fantastic. You know, everybody says, 695 boats, that's awesome. I said, well, the good news is we got 695 boats. The bad news is now we got to figure out how to produce this thing with 695 boats.
Yeah, that's a big number.
But
you produced it well. It was fun to have it on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network again on Saturday. And by the way, we're replaying. We shrunk it down to like 3 hours, and we're replaying it tonight at 10 o'clock on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. And we'll continue to do it. So if people missed some of it, but you have a great host for the event.
Yeah, Phil, he's
fun.
something, isn't he?
He's fun, man.
You gave us a preview of him last week, and he lived up to the billing.
He lives up to the billing, man. It's an experience, but it almost has to be. I mean, that'd be a long day without.
Well, what's crazy is Phil. I think I told you last week when he got finished up, he had to go right when we finished. Right after he had to go play in a band for 3 hours after that. Yeah, he's the lead singer of his band, but Green with Envy. His name's Phil Green. His band is Green with Envy, and he might not be the best vocalist in the world, but I can tell you that his crowd leaves entertained. He's got some energy.
That's awesome. Hey, so check out what Paul did. He brought some fish dip. We've already jumped into it. Got some wheat thins and fish dip. And this is kingfish that your buddy put into a smoked dip or a fish dip. And I'll tell you what, and I'm not just saying it, because we've had a lot of fish dips. I'm a big fish fan. And sometimes I'd say to you, sometimes you can be too smoky on the fish dip, or this is really good.
Yeah, my
kingfish isn't the greatest eating fish.
Well, kingfish, really if it's done well and fresh, it's okay when it's fresh. But smoked kingfish dip is what I'd say most of the people look forward to. Everybody has a smoked kingfish dip around here recipe. My good friend Tyler Eichels, Last Call Charters, he made this. He caught the fish in the king old school Saturday, smoked the fish Sunday or Monday, and put the dip together yesterday, I believe, and it's as good a kingfish dip as I've ever had. It's
really good.
It's fantastic. But, like you said, sometimes almost every fish dip recipe has liquid smoke in it, and a lot of people overdo the liquid smoke. But there's no liquid smoke in this, and it's good. It's got fresh vegetables in it that's all mixed together, and it's excellent. But thank you to Tyler.
Yeah.
Both of you fishing on the Chatterbox fishing team. They caught a lot of fish, but didn't catch the great big one. But.
Yeah, that's 40 pounds wins it. Let's take a look at some of the video, Hamby, if we can, from the event. We got a bunch of video here, so it's just from Saturday and the day. It's a long day, obviously. And we saw some of the drone video out early in the morning that you guys had sent. That was kind of cool, and just everybody taking off. You mentioned it was an okay. It was a good day, but it was an okay day in terms of how many fish were caught, right? Do I have that right?
Yeah, just so you know, that looked like 15, 18 knots of wind there. That's during the thunderstorm was approaching right there. That's the afternoon thunderstorm, which is every day in Florida.
That was when everybody's kind of coming in anyway, and the fishing's about that.
Right. We can see we have a couple rain jackets on here and stuff. But the fishing, so... There's a thing this time of year that happens. It's called a thermocline, which is a upwelling of cold water. So the water normally this time of year is 82, 83 degrees on the beach along the surf temperature. Just for example, this morning my friend told me that the surf temperature was 72 degrees. So the theory is when the water gets cold, the fish leave and go find warmer water. So a lot of the fishermen went north because the water was warmer to the north, the water was colder to the south. And that trend had started developing midweek last week.
That's not your son, is it there, Paul?
That is my son.
I know. Hey, you know why I noticed?
Why? Because he's wearing
those big old glasses.
Those glasses. Yes, sir. Anyway, so all the smart guys decided they're going to go north to find the warmer water. Well, the guys that didn't know or didn't care, they went where they've been fishing the last couple of weeks, and the fish bit in the cold water. So the better fishing was in the cooler water down off Flagler and Ponce Inlet, which is surprising to some. Surprising to me, but in general, if the bait stays, the fish will stay, and the bait apparently hung in there. So
is that the winner right there?
That looks like the winner right there. Yeah. You see that?
That's
little
40
girl?
pounds.
See that? That is the winner. Yeah, 40-pounder. That is got her old school. Every junior angler that registered, no additional charge for junior anglers, got a backpack, a nice backpack, and a beach towel, an old school beach towel inside the backpack. So I like to see her with her beach towel to stay out of the rain. And it's awesome. Like I said, you couldn't have drawn it up much better for us. Jeremiah Bush and his family, his wife and his 6-year-old daughter, and his best friend, and I apologize for not knowing his name, fishing in a 20-foot Key West small boat, literally less than a mile from the jetties of Mayport. Caught that fish, and they took home a yellowfin bay boat, and they won almost $20,000 in cash in the Calcutta. So it was a great day for them.
It was a good day for them, but a really good day because, again, we talk about this for a long time, a few years now on our show, or when we have you on, or when we're talking about the old school Kingfish Shootout. This one makes the tournament great and different, and people like it, is that family can win. This isn't just a big boat event. Right. So when that happens, I can just tell you're like beaming, like, hey, that's kind of what this is all about. Not that, hey, if a big boat's out there and wins, that's fine. It happens. Fair game. But to happen a mile off and all, that's exactly everything that's the tournament's all about.
But the reason the tournament's as successful as it is because Jeremiah Bush can compete with the big boat. Now, the big boat competes too, and the big boat is going to win. They're going to win sometimes. But Jeremiah Bush and the 20-foot Key West has the same opportunity, level playing field, fishing with your family, and that's something I would doubt they'll ever forget.
I think, Hamby, Liv caught up with Jeremiah. I'm not sure you got that handy or can get it in the next minute or two. Will he keep that, do you think? Or because you can kind of cash that in
I haven't talked to him about it. Jeremiah, I was on another dock. I kind of went down to the dock to kind of fend the boats off and see the boat owners and stuff, and I didn't see him. He brought the boat by truck. You can weigh in this tournament by truck or by boat. So they came in the truck. So I didn't even talk to him until I talked to him on the phone Saturday night. He took a polygraph test Sunday morning. Then
that's right, the lie detector test.
Yeah. He passed with flying. Yeah, no problems.
Dang, I wish I had asked you about that. I forgot about that.
And so at the awards, he was gracious as ever and awesome. Took some great pictures, but. I haven't talked to him what his plans are for the boat. I mean, I don't know if he'll sell that boat, sell his current boat, get a little bit bigger boat. I don't know if they'll sell the boat. I don't know if they'll keep the boat. It's an awesome prize, but it's a good opportunity for him.
When you heard 40 pounds, did you like, oh, that might win it? Or were you like, because when did that
happen? It was early. I would have bet 695 boats. I kind of would have thought maybe a little more, but. You don't know, a 40-pound kingfish on the beach, man, you've always got a chance. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
We have Jeremiah?
Yep.
All right, let's hear. Olivia Tasley was out there on Saturday afternoon down St. Augustine, and she caught up with the winner.
We thought it was a shark. He didn't take off at first, and then he made a run, and we had to fight him out of the buoys and ended up getting him in. We were all high-fiving and had a great time.
Did you catch him early on, or was he one of the last fish?
Caught him about, I think, 8:45, so we caught him pretty early.
So you caught and stayed out there to make sure there wasn't another big one out there?
Yeah, we stayed out for a little while, but we wanted to come back. We were at Mayport, so we wanted to get back and take our time and get here and have plenty of time to weigh it in.
Did you hand off the fishing rod to anyone, or was it you the whole time?
Just me.
How long do you think you would fought?
Maybe 15 minutes.
Okay. And talk to me about this event and what it means to a community like this.
It's awesome. We always look forward to it. Our group, same group fishes it every year. We all look forward to my dad's on his way here with a good fish. So it's fun for the community. Kids love coming out and doing it. So it's our favorite time of year.
Well, they'll be coming back for decades now, man. That's for sure. That's pretty cool. Good stuff. And that's part of the kingfish fun, right? It's interesting. He said he thought it was a shark because it must not have run right away. And then once it started running, it was a 15-minute battle.
Yeah, he told me that he thought it was a shark, and then it took off pretty good and got near the buoy in the jetty, just outside of the jetties. They were fishing in an area called the Chum Hole, and he said that they thought it was going to get them tangled up in the buoy, so they did some good boat driving and got them clear of that. So it's awesome. That's the first time I'd seen that. That was good.
Yeah, pretty good
Paul,
stuff.
you did mention to us last week that there's almost a unwritten rule that the longer you stay out, your fish loses weight.
Right.
So Olivia asked him, how long did you stay out there? Did you try to, get another bigger fish just to see if another one was out there? And he was, a little bit, but then you got to make your way in. So what do you think is going through his mind once he catches that one, and how long he wants to stay out?
Well, if I caught a 40-pounder and I was in a single engine 20-foot boat and I probably would have done about what he did. I probably would have put him back out, maybe had a cold Miller Lite, something along the line. Maybe called my buddies and say, hey, man, we got a good one,
At 8:45, can you make a Bloody Mary on a boat?
Oh, you dang right you can, buddy. You catch a fish like that in a tournament like this, you can do whatever. But I think he played it just right. I think they weighed the fish around 330, something like that. You don't want to, especially if you're coming by truck. You don't ever know, man. There could be you could get a flat tire. You don't know. You don't know. Give yourself plenty of time. You got a fish like that, just make sure you get it to the scale.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Junior angler and lady angler divisions went well as well.
Yeah, so
obviously we saw a ton of kids and ladies out there.
I ended up getting held up coming here because of a little bit of traffic, but I've got some pictures of the lady and junior angler. Kristen Malin, Ed Malin's wife, won the lady angler, and they caught a 35. She caught a 35.6 pounder. The junior angler, top junior angler, was also a young lady, and she caught, I believe she had a 30-some-odd pounder, 34 pounder. But yeah, every division was great. The juniors, the participation. We had over 400 ladies and over 400 junior anglers participated in this tournament, which is
beautiful.
Fishing fun for the whole family is what we try to say.
That's what we've been saying for the last couple of months, and
awesome.
You lived up to it. That's for sure. Hey, let's do this. Take a time out here on the show. Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Spending time with Paul Dozier. Our Let's Go Fishing segment extended a little bit to recap the old school Kingfish Shootout presented by Nimnik Buick GMC, by the way, our Let's Go Fishing segment, and also Armor Guard Exterior. And we'll hear from our fishing tip of the week coming up in just a bit. Also, check in at the Palms from a couple Wednesdays ago, as that's a bi-weekly event that they had out there. They're continuing to do that on Wednesdays. We'll ask Paul a little bit about what's next now. Maybe for you, but also for everybody else that's fishing all summer. I mean, we're still at the infancy of all
lot
this
going
in
on.
many respects.
There's
so
a lot of fishing.
And we'll show some of the lady anglers and junior anglers and also the Nimnik Lucky Ticket winner.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know you had a bunch of those. That's still on the way. So we'll be back here on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. And, let's tease a little bit about what's coming up on our tip of the week.
Captain Roger here with your Action Sports Weekly Fishing Report coming up. But before we get to that, we got Kelly Wilson with a nice snook on the release. Think you can release that snook?
Oh, yeah.
Good job.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard Exterior and Gutter Helmet Showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that, we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779 or visit the showroom on St. John's Bluff Road in Jacksonville.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
It's been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax Pal.
The Fleet continues its summer swing with the Jacksonville Armada men's and women's teams finding success on the pitch so far in 2025. The girls in blue find themselves in the thick of a three-way battle for the Sunshine Conference crown with an undefeated mark at home. They wrap up the schedule with a pair of Friday night showdowns. As for the boys in blue, they remain unbeaten this summer and top the table in their conference, with crucial road games still to come down the stretch against Naples and New Orleans, after a final home game versus FC Florida. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School.
Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Will Olive, Mandarin High School. Go Stangs.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School.
Tony Mazzio, Stanwood High School, class of 2002.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Sun's out, suits out. That's right, it's summertime in Florida, which means it's time to say goodbye to bulking season and hello to shredding season. But if you're like me, you're having a hard time sculpting and shaping those final pounds. That is until I came and saw my friends over at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Right now, everyone is hopping on the Evolve X train, and the only destination is finding your perfect summer body. The technology uses electrical muscle stimulation and radio frequency energy to cause your muscles to contract, all while heating up those deep layers of your skin and tissue to produce collagen and reduce fat. It's like doing 1,000 sit-ups in 30 minutes. No pain, no needles, just results, right? That's right. So leave those winter layers back at the station and come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
More of the old school Kingfish Shootout, and it was a fun Saturday. And again, just a reminder, we are replaying about 3 hours of the event. I mean, it went for, I think on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, the Gemstone produced it, and we carried it for, I think, 3.5 to 4 hours, somewhere in there. And so we cut it down to about 2:55, and you can kind of watch the production back. And it includes like an interview with Travis Etienne, who was out there. That must have been cool, right? Etienne fishing?
Yeah. Heck yeah. He fished with a good friend of mine, Captain Drew Castle. And they caught several kingfish. Travis caught a couple himself. So, that was awesome.
Yeah, so we will replay that tonight at 10 o'clock on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Simply find it, actionsportsjacks.com, and you can watch it back. Action News Jacks app. Action News Jacks now on your smart TV, so if you're sitting at home later tonight, and I know those fishermen go to bed early, but it's on 10 o'clock tonight replay. And we'll have it on a little bit more even over the next couple of weeks. That's one of the beauty of beautiful things about this network is we can replay and you can catch it on your own schedule. I think we already have, or at least will have, an article on actionsportsjacks.com, and I believe the entire 3 hours is even attached to that. So if we want to share it with folks that missed any of the broadcast, that's a good way to do it as well. Brent Martineau, Paul Dozier, Let's Go Fishing segment presented by Nimnik Buick GMC and Armor Guard Exteriors. Jason Hamby along the way, and we were just talking about ETN. Before I forget about this, and let me know if we got to go down to Jags headquarters for a look in. Should we do that?
We go to ETN.
We go to, well, not ETN. I want to go to actually Travis Hunter.
Okay.
Because we might get to ETN, but the Travis Hunter stuff is a little bit new from yesterday. Nobody's heard this. We caught up with him at Dick's Sporting Goods. He was at a Hey Dudes event. And, of course, when you talk to Travis Hunter, you got to talk about fishing, especially since it's the off season. He absolutely loves it. He got the new boat in. He's into the playbook, and it's funny. He's kind of being careful right now. Like, yeah, I really want to go fishing, but don't worry, I'm doing my homework. Like, it's almost like he's saying that. He's going to get his fishing in as well. We even asked him a little bit about Travis Hunter. Here's a part of that conversation from last night.
Yeah, you're definitely cooler than what they think. Hey Dudes is, they feel comfortable. I like just walking around and fishing in them all day, every day, whenever I get the chance to go fishing.
Yeah, plus here you're getting shopping for shoes and for fishing stuff.
Yes, sir, always.
You got the boat. Travis Etienne was in a tournament this past weekend. Did you catch that in the old school Kingfish Shootout? Did you talk to him about it?
Yeah, he came. He just told me right before. He said, I gave up I retired from fishing, but I'm going fishing this weekend. And he came in Monday and told me. So, yeah, I got to catch up with him and talk to him about it.
And you guys had a big rookie outing fishing. How'd you do in that?
It wasn't the best day for everyone, but I still was able to catch a redfish, so it was good.
How much fishing are you going to do from now until the start of the season?
Probably not as much because I'm still trying to study and make sure I understand the playbook.
You got to get that guy on the water, but he's going to fish. He's going to fish a bit.
He's politically correct.
Yeah.
Like you said, I agree. I think that they went fishing. The rookies, all the rookies went. Apparently, it's something they do every year. I believe Robert Pollard has a connection down in St. Augustine, and they take the rookies fishing. And apparently, right when the tide got right and they were about to start catching them, they had another prior engagement. They had to go in a little early, but Travis did catch a couple of redfish, and everybody was just very impressed with how nice of a young man he is and how respectful and how he took pictures with everybody. And he seems to be the whole package. Let's sure hope so.
Yeah,
right?
they think so too. And but what's interesting to me is just how much he genuinely loves fishing. Like he in our sit down interview that we had, there was a little bit in there too. And I was like, well, where did this come from? Like, who gave? He just basically, him and I think he said his cousin would go as a kid.
Right.
Like this time of year, he would not play ball. Like he wasn't playing. He was fishing.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'd put football down and go fish, and we'd just go catch bass, and he'd bike up there, and then one day I'd bike up there, and the other, and that's what they did. And he just fell in love with it. And I guess that's what people do. It doesn't matter what age you are, but does it usually happen at a younger age?
I was eating up with it at a young age. I think a lot of it has to do with if you go and you have some success. If you.
Yeah.
We've talked about it around here. A lot of people listening to the show or haven't grown up on the water. Go fishing with a guide. Get a guide. We have a lot of great guides around here, but at least you're going to catch something because it's very hard just to go buy a boat and go fishing and think you're going to go catch 40-pound kingfish and win the old school. That's just probably not likely, But if you get somebody to take you and show you the rope, show you the proper rigs, the proper tackle, and all that stuff, then you never know. So it's just easier to give you a little head start to do that.
All right, I've got something for you on this. I was thinking of it. The best Jaguars fishermen over the years. Like ETN was out there. Obviously Travis Hunter. Like how quickly before he becomes like you kind of know him as a football player, but you also in town or around Northeast Fandom, you're going to see him out on the water. Like we think Logs likes to hunt and fish.
Yeah, sure.
Right? He actually probably likes to hunt more than fish.
He likes it all, though. He's an outdoorsman.
But so we know that about Logs.
Right.
I don't know if they knew that when he was a player, but obviously you know that now. Brandon Linder loved to fish. Like he literally, him and Bortles would drive his boat sometimes to a game day.
Linder last week was in Africa, Cape Verde, Africa. Blue marlin fishing. He caught a blue marlin. If you look at his Instagram, there's video of it. He's talk about some rough seas, fishing in tremendously rough seas, catching blue marlin in Africa. They flew. I mean, it's just crazy. There's a gentleman. I've never met the guy from Jacksonville or St. Augustine that put his boat on a ship and sent it to Africa. That's where some of the biggest blue marlin in the world are caught. And Brandon Linder, another friend of mine named Zach Yarborough, went over there with him, and they caught some. So maybe in the break we'll check out his Instagram so we can get some footage of Linder doing that.
Well, so yeah, YB400 says, was he a good fit? Yeah, he was and is, and very passionate about it, right? Like, I don't know what makes a good fisherman. For me, it's like, who's passionate about it? Like, really loves to get out there.
You got to like it. I mean, it doesn't matter if you take my mother-in-law to a Gator football game. I don't care if they're playing McNeese State or Georgia. She doesn't like it. She's not into it. She goes for the experience. She doesn't care who wins or loses. But you take Lauren to the Gator football game, and you know after the game whether the old Gators have won or lost. How about that?
That's it. You know that for sure. What do you guys have coming up next? Now that this is in the rear view, what's out there left for folks that love to fish and now get the itch a little bit from maybe in your event? Like, hey, I got to do this again.
Absolutely.
I got a lot of summer left, right?
Well, there's a lot of summer left. There's a lot of good events coming up. There's Kingfish tournament basically every weekend. This weekend there's a tournament called the Kingbuster 400 that's out of Mayport. It's hosted out of Beach Marine. Good friend of ours, Steve Grant, and his wife Jackie run it. It's a good tournament. Next weekend there's the Ancient City Game Fish Association King Mackerel tournament out of St. Augustine. It's another good tournament. Been around a long, long time. There's a Kingfish tournament every weekend. There's a tournament called the Fired Up Kingfish tournament, which is the day it's July 5th. So that's a beach tournament like ours. So if you got the itch to go on a beach tournament, that's great.
Hey, let's go down to Jags headquarters. More on the Let's Go Fishing in just a moment, including our tip of the week. But we're going to sneak you a peek at Jags headquarters and James Gladstone, the Jaguars GM. Maybe he'll do some fishing this offseason. But Olivia Tassley's there and covering the Special Olympics event. And part of this is Special Olympian signing a contract to be a Jaguar for a day. And, they're in the team room right now. They're getting the whole experience. And here's James Gladstone, I think, speaking to them.
Congrats and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you. Jaguars played Green Bay. When they played the Packers last year, a year ago. Get the yacht to show up again here this fall and produce in a way that you can be proud of. Again, guys, enjoy it. Appreciate it.
We just saw the tail end of that with James Gladstone. That was very nice of him to stop by. And I got a little Packers fan question in there. I think he took a couple of questions after addressing them. And look, it's just a fun day down there. Now the Jags rookie class is going to be a part of this as well as they get on the field in a bit. Maybe we'll hear from one of the Jags rookies. It seems like Caleb Ransaw might be the guy today. So take the notes, sign on the dotted line. Jag for a day, along with the Special Olympics. That's a great event going on out there. And James Gladstone making it a special event for them, too, along with everybody else in the Jags organization. And we will have more on that tonight on CBS 47 and Fox 30 and through the rest of the show here today. Brent Martineau, Paul Dozier, Jason Hamby, thanks to Olivia Tassley for giving us a little bit of a peek in there at James Gladstone as well, as he continues to be a rock star.
Yeah, man, he is. He really is. I listened to some clips from him on a show, maybe online.
Serious, I think.
And he's so much. I mean, we don't want to put the cart in front of the horse, but he just listening to him so much better than what we had before. I mean, my God.
I love it because everybody's thinking it.
Here's the thing. Okay, you get wrapped, you kind of move on, right? You get the next thing. This is what happens. Mm-hmm. It happens in my life all the time. I hardly sit back and reflect and look back at last week or yesterday. I just don't do it. I'm just like on to tomorrow or next month already. And I was talking to somebody at the Travis Hunter event yesterday. And I was just asking them a little bit about even season ticket sales and stuff and how that's going. And obviously they've had a lift with Travis Hunter and other deals. But, people in Jacksonville still a little bit more wait and see. How's this going to go early on? Plus they've got some good games to go to early on if you're a Jags fan. But it was once again a reminder somewhere in that conversation of what it was like on that Monday. Yeah. When Shad Khan said, hey, we're keeping Balky, firing Peterson. And then the flip to now, but even the flip like a week later, right? 10 days later, where we documented and had the shows and everything else, and everything really started to it's really amazing, that switch, that flip, like unbelievable. And we kind of compared it a bit to 2022, where the Jags were 3-7. And what we were discussing, just to take you really inside the conversation, is they were 4-8 at one time. And remember, Trevor almost gets hurt in Detroit.
Yeah.
And you think he's done for the year.
It looked bad.
It looked really bad.
Yeah.
And he comes out in the second half, and then all of a sudden, what happened after halftime? Now, they didn't come back and win that game. But what happened the rest of that season was like nothing you thought could happen at halftime of that game in Detroit. And I was there for it. And what happened in that 9 days when Balky was staying to when he got fired, like you just couldn't imagine we'd be where we're at today with all the buzz and the hype and Travis Hunter and everything else. It's really remarkable what we would be or could be talking about and what we are talking about.
It's like everybody knew it but Shad. I mean, literally everybody knew it. I mean, I know some people within the organization, and everybody was shocked. Like, really? If you're going to fire one, I mean, I think we all thought if they're going to fire one, they're going to fire Balky and keep Doug.
True.
And everybody's like, you got to be kidding me. But I guess somebody got to him at some point. I guess maybe he'd gotten tired of being the punching bag and said, well, maybe everybody's right. So
just wild. It's pretty wild.
And who knows if they're right? By the way,
yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. We don't know. I remember when Peterson came in, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's going to be so much better than Marone." And he's won a Super Bowl, and hey, he did a good. I mean, I don't think Doug Peterson's a bad coach. I think he probably got a little stale, and time for a change. But who knows? In 5 years, we'll probably all be sitting around here cussing Cohen. Let's hope.
Well,
not.
let's be honest. Like the illustration of what we were just talking about is Hamby. Things change fast, man, in the sports world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doug. I mean, I had a thank you Doug sign made after 2022. Like, Doug was on a pedestal.
Dang right.
Doug's like, holy cow, this is where it's going. Doug's 8-3 on a Monday Night Football game against Cincinnati. Number one seed.
With a backup quarterback playing for Cincinnati.
And here, and then look what happens.
Oh.
We just talked about the Detroit flip, right? Look what happens. We just talked about the Balky flip. Well, guess what? These are flips. Well, the Doug Peterson one isn't, but the other two flips were like the positive example of a flip. They were 3-1 in 2018, and look at the way that flipped.
Yeah.
Right? So this can turn on a dime. What we've really seen in Jacksonville in the last now 7 or 8 years is, holy cow, does it go one end to the spectrum like really fast?
And something that we've mentioned a couple of times is, man, if you want to bet against a coach or a quarterback, you're going to be right 90% of the time in the NFL at some point or another. You might not be right away, but at some point that coach is going to have a really bad losing season. He's going to get fired. It's just time's going to run its course unless you're Tomlin or Harbaugh or a couple other select coaches in the NFL. Reed, obviously one of them. Your time's going to come because the NFL's that hard.
Yep.
But I do think the interesting thing right away is to remember what you thought, like Paul, you mentioned, when the guy's hired and what it feels like. And I think this is what Gladstone and Cohen have done. Not to say that this is their motivation, but they are winning fans over by the way that they have been transparent and that they are actually communicating and talking from the fans' point of view, seeming relatable to the fans. Like, that stuff matters. We don't remember Balky well, even though tenure-wise, yeah, you might think he was bad, but if you look at the rest of the NFL GMs, he pretty much lasted as much as most of them do.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he lasted.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Right? So,
yeah.
But he's remembered much worse than his tenure and his on-paper resume would actually read because there was no relationship there. So, again, this has nothing to do with wins and losses on the football field, but to your point, when Gladstone and Cohen are due just in this couple months of the feeling and invigorating and hope and excitement around the team, like, people are going to remember that for a long time.
You fire it's why you have your own fishing charter, right? So you don't have to get fired.
Well, I don't have a fishing
not
charter,
you, but the most of them, they own them, right?
Yeah, that's right. If you're a charter, you're an owner-operator. But Lauren can fire me from the tournaments. But other than that, I'm pretty safe. And
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do if she fired me from the tournaments. I definitely will never fire her from the tournaments. I can tell you that.
Lifetime contract, Lauren.
You guys would find out real quick that she does all the work.
You already know it, so that's a good thing to start with.
Absolutely.
Right there. Paul Dozier with us. Let's go fishing, presented by Nimnick Buick GMC and Armor Guard Exterior. Let's get to our fishing tip of the week with Roger, Captain Roger. He's been helping us out over the last month or so and seems to be enjoying it. So what does he have for us this week on the show?
Captain Roger here with your Action Sports fishing tip for inshore fishermen. And if you watch the reports, I've been talking about shrimps. Shrimp seem to be the main forage. It looks like we're going to have a banner year for shrimp into the summer. And that makes you want to really match the hatch with lures, especially lures. Now, if you're throwing live bait, buy you some live shrimp. Keep them alive as best you can. If you keep them overnight, try to keep that water cool so they'll be active and frisky the next day while you're fishing. But for you artificial guys, this has always been a great color, that dark root beer gold for shrimp. It just mimics a shrimp. This is kind of a flap tail, but it looks like it doesn't have a lot of action, but when you twitch it, it does. Some of your tsunami lure, shrimps, DOA's been around forever. Even a bucktail. I have some bucktails right here. And those bucktails, I like to take a piece of fish bites. And of course, on the fish bites, they just happen to have a shrimp flavor. So everything's about shrimp. And that is your Action Sports fishing tip for inshore anglers this week. We'll see you next week.
All right, Captain Roger, shrimp have been the conversation the last couple of weeks out on the river. You're going to have to contest with Captain Roger out on the river if you're going out there.
Yeah, Captain Roger's right, and we talked about it last week. The shrimp showed up. We had those pictures of Bradley out with my Tyler, who made this fish tip. Those pictures we had last week, that was the guy that took Bradley fishing that made this tip.
Okay, cool.
But he told us they caught shrimp, and they caught all these fish on the shrimp that they caught. So the next couple months in the river he's exactly right. The shrimp run starts. You can make your own bait. You can catch your own bait and then go fish around the docks and stuff, and everything likes a shrimp. So
what do we switch to here after kingfish?
Well, there's all sorts of fishing going on right now. The bottom fishing offshore, they're catching a ton of mangrove snapper out there. Like the full moon was last week, and I'm talking about these guys are going out in the evenings and fishing in the nighttime and catching 80 or 90 of these nice snappers.
Holy cow.
Yeah, pretty good fishing. And offshore from that, this time of year, there's occasional dolphin, mahi, kingfish on the wrecks. They're catching some African pompano, some cobia, the colder water we spoke of earlier. When you get that little bit of cooler water, you get cobia inshore, and that's excellent eating
good fish.
Yeah, very good fish. Fishing's good all summer here. Fishing's good 365 days a year. You can catch something in Jacksonville, Florida, year round. So
that's always a nice thing. Hey,
Paul, you mentioned a million different fish. Is anybody going to catch an opa fish this summer?
That's what I wanted. Yeah. Have you? I'd never heard of an opa fish until this. Did you see this story?
I haven't seen the story, but I saw a story of one getting caught. I saw one on Facebook this morning, I think.
Well, that's probably it then. It's down in Fort Lauderdale, I think is where the story was. And 148-pound opa fish.
Yeah.
And they say that, Paul, this is the only fully warm-blooded fish that exists.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know either, but that's a yellow.
Well, it sounds unique to me.
That's a yellowfin boat, I can tell you that. Nice yellowfin there caught it on, but
look at that thing.
I want to say I've eaten. They catch them up north more, I'm going to say.
That thing's thick.
And I've tried opa before, and it was excellent. I mean, I remember seeing the video of this thing, and they caught this fish, and the captain got a Bass Pro Shops hat there.
There we go. Give me a freaking break.
The captain was so excited. And I mean, it's a very rare fish, and I think they caught it sword fishing, trying to catch a swordfish in deep water.
Yep.
And I guess it's so rare. I didn't know it was. I mean, it's obviously an awesome fish, but I didn't know it was that big of a deal, really. But now that you mentioned it, I don't know that I've ever heard one caught in Florida.
Yeah, so I guess I had seen the story we did last night on the news. We actually had it. I was like, oh, we're going to put that on. Let's go fishing today.
Yeah.
And the woman who I think got credit with catching
David.
it, she said it's been like a dream of hers to catch one.
But yeah, she just never thought it would.
And never thought it would happen.
Right.
So it was like,
it's a beautiful fish.
Yeah, that's pretty. It doesn't look like a fish that would weigh 148 pounds, even when you show that first picture.
Yeah.
It looks so thin.
Right.
But my goodness, that thing's got some ruggedness to it, I guess, at 148 pounds. That's a big sucker. All right, hey, speaking of winning like a lottery there with an Opa fish, how about the Nimnik winner for the Lucky Fish? The lucky ticket.
Yeah.
And basically, so what happens here for this is, and you guys do this in all your events, I think, right? Nimnik's been a good sponsor of this.
Yeah.
But if you catch a fish, you enter into this. It doesn't have to be a 40-pounder. It can be a whatever pounder.
Easy as
and you
that.
got to take a picture.
Yeah,
so they weighed 206 boats, got more than 400 kingfish pictures for the Nimnik Lucky Ticket, and then it's just a drawing. Right, just becomes a raffle.
It's a random drawing, yeah. And this gentleman was there. You have to be present to win. He caught a 16-pound kingfish and won $10,000.
How about that?
Which is pretty cool. Yeah,
that's exciting.
That's exciting. That's
a great thing. I like that you guys do that. That's a neat concept.
It's interesting. We've done this now for a few years, and you get the guy. This guy was kind of a mild-mannered, quiet type fella, and he was kind of like, "Yeah, I got it." And last year we had a gentleman win, and he did cartwheels up to the stage.
Was this the first ticket you pulled?
This was the first ticket we pulled. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I said, all right. I don't know. I don't recognize this name. Boat number 50, and I hear, yep.
I think the name of it. So hopefully I have it right. Matthias Kennernecht.
Yes,
is hopefully the correct way to say it. I'm not going to ask you to spell it.
No.
Matthias Kennernecht, that's pretty cool. Good way to do it. You know what I think of when you guys have all these good ideas? I'm just trying to see what I could steal that would translate into our Dream 18 golf tournament coming up in September.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think like, hey, what kind of lucky ticket type of deal can I do in a golf tournament? Like the fish makes a lot of sense.
If you make a par.
No, it's like, what's the best golf ball you found in the woods? Like, I don't know. Like,
everybody that makes a par gets their name in a hat.
Listen, we get enough cheating.
Okay.
All right. We're not doing the polygraph test.
Okay.
We won't be doing that.
Yeah.
So here we got some other pictures.
Yeah. So I just sent this to Hamby. This was caught yesterday, I believe. This is an African pompano.
Oh, wow.
And it was caught off St. Augustine, the bait shack, and St. Augustine's one of the sponsors of our tournament. That's a 40-pound African pompano. And if I'm reading this correct, and I'm looking right now, I believe this could be a new woman's world record.
Really?
Caught on 20-pound test. She caught it on 20-pound test out of St. Augustine yesterday. Let me see if I can get her. Her name's Yvonne Norman. And, 9 Mile Reef. These fish are not uncommon around here. They're not common either, but this time of year you catch them out usually about 40 miles offshore and 100 feet of water or deeper. This fish was caught about 9 miles off the beach in about 60 feet of water, which is uncommon. But like I was mentioning earlier, when you get this cold water upwelling, weird stuff happens. It just seems to change. You get different kind of fish in different areas. But that is one of the biggest African pompano I've ever seen around here. And that's a tremendous fighting fish. So that's a great eating fish too. That's a heck of a catch for Yvonne there.
So that's an interesting deal. So how do they figure out if it's a world record or?
Well, there's record books. IGFA, International Game Fish Association, has world records, and there's a record for line class. So she caught that fish on 20-pound test. There's a ladies record for 20-pound test, 30-pound test, 50-pound test, on and on. So apparently that's the biggest one ever caught on 20. I don't know if it's going to stand because I imagine she caught it while she was kingfishing, which means it had a treble hook. And records can't be set with treble hooks.
Interesting.
Unless it's on a lure.
That's why we have you here.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. That's a wild technicality. See, the thing that I think about is whoever she was with there. I was like, well, how do you know? Why does she get credit for catching? Like, how do you know it's a woman
She caught
that caught it?
She reeled it in. So,
but how do you know?
Well, I don't know. I think there's some honor in fishing, just like golf. Brent,
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully, it's better in fishing.
Yeah. Paul, I meant to ask you with the OPA fish, when something is caught that is that rare, what's the psychology and how do you decide whether you release it or bring it back? Because that was a really rare fish.
Well,
and I believe that she brought it in.
Yeah, it looked like they had.
Like, is that going to be like a,
that'll probably go on the wall.
Yeah, I'm bringing that in.
Yeah. Well, they also caught that fish.
You're going to taxidermy that thing?
Yeah, I would think so. And they caught that fish in probably 12 or 1,500 feet of water, maybe as deep as 1,800 feet of water, down towards the bottom. That fish was caught, I believe, and I'm not, again, I think. That fish was caught on an electric reel. Lingering Pittman's in the picture there. It's a big electric reel on the bottom. Usually, if you catch a fish from that deep of water, the fish is dead anyway. When you get up. Swordfish are a little bit different because they swim up, so they can kind of decompress. But if you catch a grouper deep dropping, or even in a couple 100 feet of water, a lot of times their bellies are blown out and their eyes are popping out of their head, and it's not gonna. They're done.
The pressure works the same way for them too.
Right, just like divers.
Interesting. And that's why we have you on, Paul Dozier. Hey, before we say goodbye, let's go fishing, which has been a fun segment to recap the old school Kingfish Shootout. Got a little fish dip today. Sorry to rub it in, but it's really good. Do you know Jason Hamby has never had fish? He's never had fish.
I tell you, man.
I mean, what are we doing here? Nobody in his family eats fish.
We're going to get him a Bass Pro hat. That's official.
That I'd actually fit in with that group, given that fact.
I mean, that's amazing. I don't think I've ever heard that. And you're not allergic. Now, some people are allergic, right, to shellfish and other things.
My mom's allergic to shellfish, but she'd eat that, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I eat shrimp, but that's it.
Ah, that's wild.
Have you ever tried it, Hamby? You just scared of it?
No, I've
no, he kind of sounded scared of it. You asked if he did.
He did. I think my daughter would have tried it first.
I've had grilled grouper. That was pretty good. But it's.
Oh wait, so you've had grouper?
So you've had fish?
Well, I've had it once, and it's it doesn't really count. It tastes like chicken because it's so charred.
No,
that counts.
It counts.
Okay. Now you just ruined the whole bit.
I've had it once. Then.
Well, it was once. That's unbelievable, though. I mean, I don't know.
You eat sushi?
And you grow up around here.
Do you eat sushi? No.
Nope.
No. Okay.
I mean, I can see that. A lot of people don't eat
sushi. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying a lot of people don't think they eat sushi, and that's fish too. I mean, I don't know.
Hey, you know how many times a day I say that about Hamby?
Yeah.
Yeah, quite a bit. Well, I don't see him much anymore, but I say that when he's on a regular basis. All right, man, thanks for bringing that in.
Yeah.
Congrats on the tournament.
Thank
Great
you,
stuff.
guys. Hey, I'd like to just real quick, our volunteers and friends and volunteers make it happen. It's just unbelievable. It's hot down there, guys. and then we appreciate them. So
yeah. Well, by the way, too, and Liv, I think did a story on this, but I know she caught up with Brian Braddock, head coach at St. Augustine High School, and his football team. I guess they've been going down there and helping volunteer.
Yeah, for years,
right?
For years, yep. And we take the fish that the fishermen catch, and we have a permit. And the permit is we sell the fish, and it has to be donated to a 501c3 charity, which St. Augustine Boosters qualifies for that. So we give them a portion of that fish. We give some to the Daly's Foundation as well. So, yeah, they come help. It's a good trade out. And, oh, my goodness, what a great guy Coach Braddock is, and his kids are – you can see why they're a disciplined, good football team, because he was getting on them because they were being lazy, sitting around watching he and I do all the work, and he'd jump right on them like, I'm going to run your butt in practice.
He's a good coach.
He's a good coach.
Really good coach.
And a great man, too, you can just tell.
Yeah, very good. And that's good stuff. A lot of people winning down there during the big event, the old school Kingfish Shootout. So great stuff. All right, man, have a good week. Rest easy and enjoy some more of that dip. I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it with you.
I appreciate that. Thanks for bringing it in. We'll see you next week. Let's Go Fishing, presented by Nimbic Buick GMC and Armor Guard Exterior. And speaking of, Kevin out at the Palms just about every other Wednesday.
How'd you guys do today? Good. We went out early, saw a bunch of fish. They weren't biting at first, and we actually got our 2 keepers in a 10-minute time frame. So caught a red and a trout within 10 minutes and ran back and made it before the cutoff. So that's a good night.
Where you guys place?
Second with 606. Yeah.
So you guys recommend people come out and do this tournament? It seems like you put together pretty well.
For sure. Yeah, we love it. It's good. It's a short tournament, so it's not an all day. So you can get off work, you come fish, and you couldn't ask for a better Wednesday.
There you go. Kevin from Armor Guard Exterior. He's even got the Action Sports Shacks hat on. I mean, these guys are doing their job out there. They're getting that Action Sports Shacks brand out at all the fishing camps and places. And always every other Wednesday, look, they took home some cash. You can too. Look it up, the Palms. I know they have a Facebook page as well if you want to see a little bit more information on that. We'll be right back. We're getting back some football. Austin joins us next. Noon hour. Brent and Austin Show. Action Sports Shacks 24/7 Network. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC, we are professional grade.
The Fleet continues its summer swing with the Jacksonville Armada men's and women's teams finding success on the pitch so far in 2025. The girls in blue find themselves in the thick of a 3-way battle for the Sunshine Conference crown with an undefeated mark at home. They wrap up the schedule with a pair of Friday night showdowns. As for the boys in blue, they remain unbeaten this summer and top the table in their conference, with crucial road games still to come down the stretch against Naples and New Orleans, after a final home game versus FC Florida. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Choose your own adventure. It's not just a saying, but a way of life here at Cycles of Jacksonville. And whether it's 2 wheels or 4 wheels, at Cycles of Jacksonville, a great adventure awaits. With brands like Honda, Vespa, Segway, and Triumph, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with the inventory featuring a 60,000 square foot building. If 4 wheels is more your thing, check out the largest selection of Honda Talons in the entire county. No matter what you're looking for, Cycles of Jacksonville is going to have the selection you need, all with great financing and rebates. Plus, if you're active duty military, Cycles of Jacksonville will offer you 0% financing along with great discounts for military and first responders. And when you want to get off the road and set sail, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with everything you need to get on the water. So if you're ready for a great adventure, let Cycles of Jacksonville be your guide. Located off Atlantic Boulevard, or check out their website at cyclesofjacksonville.com.
It's fast-paced.
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
High fly.
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
Action-packed. Weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks.
I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Welcome back to the...
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just...
Austin's laughing already, so we know we got him in. And we have a disaster in Arkansas as the Razorbacks collapse yet again, the second time in just a few years to lose last night. And we're you know, Austin we know has stopped watching because Murray State is out of it.
Couldn't have nailed it anymore, Hamby. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, so I know he didn't watch, but it's all good because, you know, he saved himself some stress, most likely. Not even having any dog in the fight didn't matter. He probably still would have had some stress last night watching that game. Austin, do you remember a couple years ago when Arkansas blew it in the College World Series?
So to be fair, I haven't really followed a lot of College World Series. I remember when Oregon State was good back when I was like maybe in high school, even younger.
Okay.
But besides that, man, I do not remember. But if you're asking me, I did not watch the game last night, but if I was going to be cheering for somebody, it probably would have been LSU just to get a little payback for Arkansas for beating Murray State. So maybe I should have watched the game as it looks like I would have been entertained at the end.
So you're not the guy who wants the team that knocked you out to go on and win it.
No.
You know how that, I mean, there's only two people in sports, two camps. It's the people that once you get knocked out, they root for the team that knocked them out. It makes them look better if that team goes on and wins.
Sure.
Or the team that just wants retribution. One more time. How about that? Retribution.
There we
and wants that team to fail immediately. You're in the latter camp.
Yeah, because here's how I feel about it, Hamby. You're only as good as your last game, right? So, like, once your season's done, it's done. So I would much rather see the team that put my team out also lose as well. Like, I don't want to see the team that beat my team celebrating, hoisting a championship, you know, basking in the glory and everything, while my team's at home just wondering, man, a couple plays here, a couple plays there, it could have been different. So to answer your question, no. Whoever beats my team, I hope goes out the next round.
All right, let's bring in Brent back. Brent, which one are you? Are you the guy that if your team gets knocked out, you want to see that team go on and win because that makes your team look better, or you want them to fail immediately?
Yeah, I've never really been one way or the other too crazy, but I think I lean, if I'm being honest with myself, with I almost want them to win. You know, because I think in the back of your mind, you can, you know, the what ifs of, man, like if I had gotten more at bats my senior year of college, I could have been an All-American, but coach didn't put me in. You know, like that could have been my best year I ever played, right? So you can kind of play with your mind that way. And I think actually people, whether they admit that or not, they like that idea. And so I think this is kind of an example of that. There's a little bit of tangent to that. I will give you a little bit of an example of it. Like Kaylee and they played in a really good conference this year. Daytona State did in softball, and they had like 7 of the teams in the top 18. Well, only 3 of them could go to the national tournament. And so at the end of it, I think it was Northwest Florida and Florida Southwestern. And we had played both of them. And so I was like, see? Like, I think we lost one game 7-5, and we had beaten the other team like 1 out of like 4 times, but we had beaten them. So like, you kind of get to this point like, you know what? If things had fallen in the right place, if we had played a little bit better here and there, good enough to win maybe a national championship. We can hang with those teams. So I guess that's where my mind goes, whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah, I mean, Hamby, I'll put it to you like this from my perspective. Last year when the Brewers were playing the Mets, I think what was that? And I think it was like the divisional final.
Yep, NLDS.
Yeah, NLDS. And obviously it was the walk-off for the Mets to win it over Devin Williams and everything. And I was sick to my stomach when that happened because I remember exactly where I was. I was in Vegas watching before my fight. And then the Mets kind of went on a little bit of a run. I was not cheering for the Mets because I knew if they would have won a World Series, I would have been sick to my stomach because if Devin Williams would have just had a different pitch, the whole story could have been different. So since it was such a nail-biting game and so close, I didn't want the Mets to go on. I wanted the Mets to lose literally the next series.
Yeah, I get it. I get that. That makes some sense. A couple of quick hitters as we move on. Speaking of that psychology thing, did you see Austin? I know you've been watching the College World Series, but Murray State wasn't in it. Did you see the Arkansas finish last night?
No, Hamby was literally just getting ready to tell me.
I mean, holy cow, right?
Gosh.
I mean, it's Hamby went to bed, but
yeah, Austin. So I watched the first 7 innings.
Not that I know this. He just told me that he went to bed. All right, people.
Right. Yeah, I watched the first 7 innings.
Is he living with you? Is he already on the rocks? What happened on the honeymoon?
I almost asked him that today when I saw him. I was like, "Hey, you still married?" That's gonna be my question. We see Hammy once every 3 weeks. They're like, "Hey, you still married?"
Yeah.
Still married. But I went to bed in the 7th inning, and I think it was 3-1, and it finishes 6-5. And I see there's a ton of scoring in the 8th and 9th inning. I'm like, oh my gosh, I probably missed a classic. I don't know if this would qualify as a classic as much as it would, a nightmare for one team. But, it kind of goes back to the point that we've been making a lot. Well, Brent's been making is that, holy cow, do teams just lose games instead of teams win them? Arkansas lost that game. LSU didn't deserve to win, didn't win it. I mean, Arkansas made 3 bad mistakes. I guess one of them, and there wasn't even minnow errors or anything like that. It was there was.
That was one mental error. I mean, the shortstop.
Well, that was the first one.
Yeah,
that was the first one. First and second with 1 out. Austin, they're up 2 runs.
Okay.
And it's first and second. LSU's got it. And there's 1 out. There's a tailor-made double play ball to the shortstop, who's probably going to be a top 10 pick. Watching that
He's
guy.
He's a big leaguer.
Watching that guy hit has made me worth watching, just him these last couple of games. But he's got to go to his right, and he goes to third base to get the out instead of, the guy's the base runner's 5 feet out of the box when he catches the ground ball. So that would have ended the game.
Yeah.
So there's 2 outs now. There's still, at the end of the day, there's 2 outs, and there's a guy on first and second. They're up 2 runs.
Okay.
Line drive, fly ball to the left fielder, who's probably their second best player.
It was hit hard.
He trips. The ball goes off of his shoulder and flies 50 feet all the way into the corner. 2-run score, tie game, guy on second base.
When you say he trips, he got a bad read on it? He
Yeah.
had the read, he just fell?
He went back first, and then he
still would have caught the ball.
He would have caught it if but he kind of freaked out. You can tell he freaked out because the ball was hammered. It was smoked, but it's sinking.
Yeah.
And, that toughest one is real. I played outfield. That toughest one right at you that's kind of on a line is really the hardest one to read. So he goes back, and probably rightfully so, right? You're up a couple runs. You don't want to You can't give up doubles in that situation. And he tripped. He kind of fumbles, as he's almost like he was trying to dive for it, didn't need to.
He was in between.
And I mean, it looked like it hit him in the head.
Yeah.
It was really a blooper kind of moment. And oh my gosh, it's just they really had no right losing that game. And these guys are really good players, Austin. These are good teams. This is not 12U or 15U or even high school. This is real deal, big league kind of stuff. But the part of it is that it's also on a huge stage. It's just a big stage. And I just feel so bad, man, for when, I'm not sure we're supposed to feel bad for these guys anymore. They're making money. They're 22, 23, even 24 years old now. They're young men. But I feel bad. There are even times you feel bad for professional athletes in these moments, and they get paid millions. And I just, You just really feel. And unfortunately, like I was just like begging for extra innings. Please go extra innings. Give these guys a chance to at least make amends, right? And of course, the next ball, like a little blooper, goes off the glove of the second baseman. Now, not like an error, but like he jumped up and tried to get it. And the game's over.
It hit his glove, Austin. He probably catches it 80% of the time.
He might have been able to catch it.
Like he was not full extension.
I mean, it was like, Austin, it was like Billy Buckner happened 3 times in a row.
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah. I don't feel bad for Arkansas, but that's unfortunate.
Did Arkansas bounce Murray State? Yeah, they did. They had the
of course, right. They had the no-hitter. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm
That's
not,
how you got on this.
I'm not trying to play tough guy by any means. I'm sure if I put blood, sweat, and tears for years for a program and we lost in that fashion, I don't know what I would do. The one thing you wouldn't catch me, I don't think under any circumstances, is balling real tears when I know cameras are on me. I just think I would be cognizant of that fact, and I don't think I'd be in the moment enough to just totally forget that. At the very least, the hat is being tilted down.
You'd be balling,
bro. The hat's got to be tilted down at least.
No.
You can't be taking the hat off so the entire broadcast knows that we're balling for minutes on end.
I don't think they're that cognizant. See, that's why I feel a little bit. They're not used to all that. Like you would see this play.
They've been on TV. They're in the SEC.
This is like your self-righteous, self-righteous young guy Twitter right now. That's what you are. They're not. This is not a familiar thing. You can go. Arkansas has 10,000 fans that go to a game. Nobody in the country is seeing this play if it's in May or if it's in April. Everybody's seeing this play on a Wednesday night going into SportsCenter, whether it's on ESPN. It is a totally different landscape.
I don't think it's about that, though. That doesn't mean whether
it's about knowing. You think these guys know that camera's on him in that moment? He's so devastated. Like, how does he have the wherewithal to know, oh, the camera might be on me? Tom Brady knows the camera's on him as soon as anything happens. Like, he knows. This kid in left field has no idea that camera's locked into him.
This is not 50 years ago when nobody's games were ever broadcasted. This guy's probably had cameras on him since high school, at least minimum, putting out highlight tapes and all of these things. He's a senior, isn't he? Like he's
I think you're so wrong here. I don't even think you're close to right.
He knows.
Hamby, you're not thinking of that in the moment, Hamby.
Okay, fine.
Listen,
you're not. As soon as the run scores and LSU is running on the field celebrating, you might not be. But 2 minutes later, the thought's crossing your mind at some point within those 2 minutes that a camera has found me at least once. I might want to cover up a little bit.
Let it go, man. Let it go.
Yeah, why? You don't got to be ashamed, dude. Everybody cries, It's part of sports. It's part of the human element. Like, I mean, I'll never forget. And I've told this story before, and this is different circumstances, obviously. And by the way, I just saw the LSU Arkansas play, so I'm definitely going to save that video and make that my ringtone for the announcer calling it. Love that. Just love it. Brent, hey, listen, if you beat my racers, like that's what you get. But I remember, and I've told the story, when we played the Indianapolis Colts and Austin Collie got knocked out for the last time, that cost him his career. But when Darryl Smith hit Austin Collie, I thought Austin Collie was dead because I've seen people get knocked out many times. I've never seen someone get knocked out and not snore or anything, not make any sounds, just lay there lifeless. So literally we're all gathered in a circle and helmets are off, obviously, talking to who we need to talk to upstairs, saying, hopefully this guy's all right. And dude, the camera catches me bawling because I literally thought I just witnessed a dead body on the field. All of a sudden it's not a game anymore. All of a sudden it's real life.
Yeah.
And obviously he was okay and everything, thankfully. But after the game, all my friends, had back. You couldn't really screenshot a picture on your phone and watch it, but they screenshotted the TV, took a picture of the TV of me crying, and they're like, saw you crying like a little, you know what, on TV, Austin, good job. It's you don't know what's happening, and nothing can prepare you for it. Now, is it life or death in that baseball game? Well, Hamby, no, it's not. But you put so much, and this, you're a coach, man. You put so much.
I get it,
into the sport. And nothing's going to prepare you from being absolutely up thinking we're going to win this game to all of a sudden a couple plays here or there. And now all of a sudden we're going home. Nothing's going to prepare you for it, man. And like the last thing you're thinking about is, oh, hopefully the cameras don't see me.
Yeah, I think in a weird way, in that moment, and this isn't right? This isn't the correct way to look at it. But for that young man, for those parents, for that team, it is a life and death situation. Like, it is that important to them in that moment to make that play. And again, in the grand scheme, no. But I mean, I really worry about a guy like this and kind of how you overcome that stuff. Like, how much will this eat at him? How much, when does he get over it because he's going to get drafted in 2 weeks? Easy for us to say, hey, you get your next moment. But I don't think that's as easy to get over. Like, I really start to worry about some of those things when you have these kind of plays. I mean, you think of big plays that have, like, blunder plays that have been, I make this play 99 out of 100 times, and you lose on a big stage. And Billy Buckner takes the cake here, right, Austen? Like, I mean, isn't that like the go-to for everybody?
Yeah, that's immediately what you think about. It's what you resort to. Yes.
I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what else really comes to mind. There are probably stretches of this one, but there's not like an immediate second in my mind. Now, listen, you could go to the Olympics and you're a gymnast, or you're by yourself, like you're isolated there, right? Yeah, so when you fail in front of everybody. There's a million examples of that, but there's also an element of that, like if you're on the balance beam, that it's hard to stay on that damn thing. Or if you're on ice skates and you're doing a triple axel, it's hard to land that thing. Like, it is not hard to catch a fly ball that you've caught a million times in your life. And I do think the baseball element of this stands out above even basketball and football, because there's nowhere to hide. To Hamby's point, the camera goes to you. You're all by yourself out there. Teammates don't even know what to do. Like, they don't know how to console you. And so when it happens in baseball, I feel like it just feels bigger because you're kind of on an island. You're in your own space, whether you're a pitcher, first baseman Billy Buckner, left fielder in this situation, and a huge field, by the way. So, man, it's that's why that enter the arena thing. That's why I always say Austen, I have a lot of respect for what Austen does in the cage, like to get in there, not only train for it, all this stuff, but I also have the same respect for my kids to go, you got to, or your kids or players in town, or it doesn't have to be at the highest level, but you hope for that fame. You hope for that moment. You hope for that game-winning diving catch. But the bottom line is that reality that happened last night absolutely can happen. The worst can happen. And as much as you dream about the good stuff happening, the bad happens too.
And it's one of the most cliche things, Brent, that, it's not even in sports, but really in life, is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And I truly believe that, right? Like, yeah, you want to talk about those kids in that moment right now from Arkansas, they're at the lowest, right? And days, weeks, months, maybe even years go by, and like you probably still never get over it, but what do you take from it? You learn from it, and you grow, and you move on. I mean, it's funny you mentioned Billy Buckner, and Brent, you probably don't watch it, and Hamby, you probably don't watch this either, but there's a show called it's called Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's with Larry David. You guys familiar with it or not?
Yes. I haven't seen it. I mean, but I don't watch it, but I know it. Yes.
So there's a Billy Buckner episode, and like, obviously Billy Buckner is famous for the ball going between his legs and everything. And like, I don't recall really ever seeing him like in TV or in the limelight since then. So he was on an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and the whole premise is basically like Larry David, who's like the main character of it. He lives like right next door to Billy Buckner, and Billy needed to use Larry's car for something, so Larry throws him the keys, but Buckner goes to grab the keys, he drops them, and like they fall out the window into like a sewer. So like he kind of screws himself again, and everyone's just kind of looking at Billy like, what the heck, man? So like at the final like couple minutes of the episode, there's a fire in the building, and there's like a mother with her baby, and she's like, she throws the baby out the window, and all of a sudden here comes Billy Buckner, and he grabs the baby, and like it's like his redemption story, right? But like, I mean, but like really cool for Billy to be, it goes to show you, like, yeah, at one time he was probably the most hated person in that city for letting that happen. But eventually, I feel like time heals wounds, and you can move on. You can kind of laugh at yourself a little bit, like in that episode, and then you can have a little, redemption at the end, and that's kind of what happened with Billy. So he said, "Give it time, Brent."
I get it. And listen, that's what you hope, right? You hope all these lessons. That's why you do play sports. That's why people hire people who play sports in college or in high school, because you can deal with adversity and other things. That's part of it. And especially a game of baseball where you have a ton of failure. So I really hope he will. I think he will. And he'll have some great moments in his big league career, hopefully in his pro career. But he won't forget about this one. Hopefully, you're right. He takes a real positive from it. But he's going to be better for it, I would think, in the long run. But you can't tell anybody that in real time. That's for damn sure. Good luck trying to do that. I've been mom and dad trying to do that. That ain't easy. I can't even try to convince myself sometimes that's going to happen. All right. Hey, Caleb Ransaw, is he speaking right now down at Jags headquarters? We're going to pop into this real quick. The Jaguars' third-round pick, safety, cornerback turned safety for the Jags. He's at the Special Olympics event along with a bunch of rookies, and Liv Tassley has that. And let's take a peek in on what Caleb Ransaw is saying.
And just feeling a sense of just happiness and support, obviously. Just being able to just do what we do, honestly, and just have fun today.
All right, so they are your new teammates for today. What are you going to put them through?
Man, they're going to have to work a little bit. They got to do some good drills. They got to perform well.
Perfect. I'm good. Thank you, Ransaw. I appreciate it.
We're pretty good at catching the end of these things, aren't we, Hamby?
I
mean, what the hell kind of timing do we have here today on the show?
We've been putting on a clinic.
How long was that? Hopefully that interview went longer than the James Gladstone peek into his message, which was 30 seconds.
Well, I think that might have been a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
What the heck? Come on, Liv. Extend that thing. Liv's doing a great job, by the way. But that was fun for a moment. Yeah, there we go. This is good. Live look in. As, again, the Jags rookies are out there. And word is Travis Hunter's out there with his pajama bottoms.
Yeah, sounds about right.
What else, right?
What else would you expect?
Nice.
He's definitely a nickel. Ransaw's not a nickel.
I didn't hear the interview at all. So
no.
And it didn't have anything to do with that. So did he?
Well, I think because I had said he's a safety, which he is. He's a corner turn. They're going to play him at safety. Like, that's the plan. Special team, safety.
Oh, wow.
But I don't think I'll see him at the nickel spot. So a good day out there at Jags headquarters. We've been taking you there all morning. Special Olympians with the Jaguars, and they signed, and they've got their jerseys. I got a little motivational talk from James Gladstone, the Jags GM, and now all the rookies out there as well. Good to pop in quick with Caleb Ransaw. We'll have more of that tonight, CBS 47, Fox 30 on Action Sports Jax. Let's take a break. Brent and Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. We'll go to break with this, and when we come back, a little bit more with us. Nice. Great scene, man. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait a minute.
Not a baby.
There we go. We're not going to break just yet.
Ronan eats your heart out, man. This dude's got some news for you.
That's awesome. Great.
That's awesome.
Great stuff. All right, we will take a break. We'll be right back. And I want to ask Austen about Giannis and some trade possibilities if he's up for any of those when we come back.
Choose your own adventure. It's not just a saying, but a way of life here at Cycles of Jacksonville. And whether it's 2 wheels or 4 wheels, at Cycles of Jacksonville, a great adventure awaits. With brands like Honda, Vespa, Segway, and Triumph, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with their inventory featuring a 60,000 square foot building. If 4 wheels is more your thing, check out the largest selection of Honda Talons in the entire county. No matter what you're looking for, Cycles of Jacksonville is going to have the selection you need, all with great financing and rebates. Plus, if you're active duty military, Cycles of Jacksonville will offer you 0% financing along with great discounts for military and first responders. And when you want to get off the road and set sail, Cycles of Jacksonville has you covered with everything you need to get on the water. So if you're ready for a great adventure, let Cycles of Jacksonville be your guide. Located off Atlantic Boulevard, or check out their website at cyclesofjacksonville.com.
It's fast-paced.
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
High fly.
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
Action-packed. Weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks. I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the Drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University.
Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School. Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Will Olive, Mandarin High School. Go Stangs.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School.
Tony Mazzio, Sandwood High School, class of 2002.
Samuel Coffrin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School.
Reagan Webb, Eagles View Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com. Grab some friends and go to a restaurant or head out for a drink and some conversation. Watch your favorite team play on the big screen. Or how about play some games? You can do all of that in one night at Best Bet. Each location has a different vibe, its own personality, like here at the original Best Bet in Orange Park. When you walk through these doors, everybody knows your name. And here in St. Augustine, it's the newest location. Play some poker. How about the table games? And don't forget about Ace's Sports Bar and Grill. And then there's the Jacksonville location right here on Monument Road. It's the biggest poker room in the state of Florida. Maybe you'll find yourself a seat right here at the final table. Best Bet, where you can have the best of times. And that makes you always
Brent and Austen Show,
winner. Try any
streaming
of the
on
three
the Action
locations.
Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Hey there, look at the training camp dates. July 19th, rookies report. The 22nd, veterans will be there. And I think somewhere in there, I think when rookies report, I think the quarterbacks go to. They didn't announce that. The league didn't. But I think usually the quarterbacks go in right around that same time. And listen, essentially the camp is going to start. Let me check my calendar real quick. It's usually on a Thursday.
Not a baby.
The 23rd would be a Wednesday. So I think if the veterans report on the 22nd, the 23rd is most likely date that we get training camp to start here in 2025. So set your calendars. The Jags have kind of told us that they'll have more information in early July. Look around like a little bit after the 4th of July, and you'll get more information about what practices are open to fans and everything else. So stay tuned for that, and of course, we'll pass it along when the time comes. Brent Martineau, Austen Lane down in South Florida. How's the workout today, by the way?
Workout was intense. Had a hard sparring day with smaller gloves, so went really good.
All right. Good. Did you see, by the way, Travis Hunter wearing the AEW garb last night during that event. You see any of that?
No, I mean, so the event, I thought it was like 4 hours. I watched a good majority of it, but I didn't see Travis Hunter rocking the AEW stuff. That's cool.
Oh, no, I mean, like, you mean the AEW event last night was 4 hours?
Yeah.
I mean, Travis Hunter was at, he was at a Hey Dudes event and at Dick's Sporting Goods, and he walked in with an AEW hat on and AEW on his, along with the Jags logo.
Oh,
on
I
his
thought,
shirt.
you meant I thought you meant like he made like an AEW appearance last night. Oh no, I didn't see him rocking the gear, but obviously helping out Tony Khan a little bit, I assume.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He didn't say like he's a big wrestling fan or anything like that. But he was wearing the brand.
Representing.
Yeah, I wonder how that goes. Like, hey, Tony, say, can you wear this? Or he's just like, hey, give me one of those, I'll wear it.
Yeah,
I don't think it's that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe a little money here or there. I don't know.
I wonder if you can do that. I guess you could.
Yeah, why couldn't you?
Yeah, I don't know how that works. That's kind of a unique thing. I mean, and it maybe is not as unique as I think. But interested to see. Hey, NBA Finals tonight. Halliburton, the main story. Does Indiana extend this thing or no?
I mean, one could say, are they a better team if Halliburton's not going to be out there? Possibly, but, I just think that Oklahoma City is too talented. And they're playing at Oklahoma City too, right? Correct? No, they're playing at – how does this work now? Where are they at, Brent?
They're in Indiana.
They're in Indiana. Okay, yeah, that's right. Then Oklahoma City's got the Game 7. Man, obviously Indiana could come out willing to play it and make it an interesting series for a Game 7, but – I think Oklahoma City, regardless if it's going to be tonight or the next game, is just far too talented.
Oh, that'll be interesting. The question is, if they do find a way to win this one, it sets up obviously it sets up a Game 7. But I wonder if it even swings the pendulum a little bit from a toughness standpoint and everything else. That's what I'm curious about. How about the Lakers, man? $10 billion on the sale. Not that we really care, but $10 billion. The Boston Celtics sold for $6 billion a couple of months ago. Man. I would have no idea the Lakers are worth that much more than the Boston Celtics.
I mean, I just think it's kind of the LeBron James effect too, a little bit, right?
Or is it just an LA effect? Like, is LA that much bigger of a market than Boston, though?
You saw how much he bought the team for back in the 70s?
I missed the number, but I think it was like $500,000 or something. No, I'm sorry, like a couple $100 million.
So he just sold it for $10 billion. In '79. He bought it for $67 million. It's a 14,000% return on investment.
Jeez.
Pretty much what I learned is that I'm going to go to Mr. Ken Babby and say, hey, I got $20. If you go on this Rays deal, cut me a piece of it because you gotta own a sports team. You got to find a way in. I'll take my $20 up there.
Yeah, that's of course, a lot of these folks are making a lot of money now. The investment has gone so just crazy, right, in sports franchises. I read the Rays owner, because obviously that story was so big the last day. The Rays owner had bought the Rays for $200 million.
It's selling for
because
1.8?
It's selling for $1.7 billion, which I actually thought might be on the lower end, $1.7 billion. But they don't have the whole stadium thing's a mess, so maybe that factors in. But $1.7 billion that guy's going to get after a $200 million investment. Crazy. Times 20 years. That's it. It's only a 20-year span. We're not talking going back to 1979 is my point. So, I mean, hey, listen, they say the rich get richer for a reason.
Right.
You ain't lying. It's a super hard question here, and it's kind of on the spot, but if you guys could invest and buy low right now in one professional sports team and just invest in them thinking, give them 10, 20 years, they're going to be in a new echelon, and you get a lot of return on your investment, who would you invest in?
Well, that's a good one. That's a really good call.
I mean, I feel like it's a super hard question, but
I would buy the Chargers.
Well, but
just being in Los Angeles and everything, you got to share it with LA.
You're going to pay billions. You're going to pay billions. How do you make more than billions?
I mean, what do you mean? How do you make more than billions?
Okay, like an NFL franchise, even the Jags or the Chargers right now will go for about $4 billion at a minimum.
Right.
So, like, you're basically investing on that and saying in 15, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, whatever,
it's gonna be worth
they're going to be worth $50 billion?
I mean, I don't know about 50, but look, I mean, I'm looking at the next 20 years. I got a franchise quarterback, and I got a new team in LA. LA is the place to be. I have a new stadium, and the NFL prints money, and the NFL is going abroad more and more and more. I think, of the NFL teams, I want a team that has a young star quarterback, has a new stadium, is in a great city, a sports town, and LA is only going to accept the Chargers more and more as they continue to win.
My mind doesn't go there. I feel like the NFL is so saturated in the States. I do like your thought process on the international part. That's a good deal. My mind, here's where my mind went to, and I'm not sure I'm right. I'm just saying my mind went to this way with the WNBA. And I think it's I said this earlier in the show, it's a little boom or bust, Austin, because right now women's sports is booming. And the WNBA seems to be booming, but it also really has been showcased now. It's very much has to do with Caitlin Clark. Like when she doesn't play, ticket sales go down, viewership goes down, everything else. But my investment part of this is that Caitlin Clark is going to have the impact that like Tiger Woods had on golf, where she's going to create a generation of Caitlin Clarks.
Sure.
And so down the road, the league gets even better. You have more superstars. You have polarizing figures. The branding's big, all that. So even though it's a pretty costly endeavor right now, it really jumped in the last 2 or 3 years. I think you could make the bet that it's only going to go up.
So are you saying that you would...
Did we lose him or did we get him?
I think we lost him. He'll hop back in a second.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what he was trying to say. I really couldn't even make that one out. But it's an interest, and here's the reason why I say that, Ham, because it's still a pretty low price. Like we're asking the nature of the question, like $200 million is a lot of money. But that dude in Tampa went from $200 million to $1.7 billion.
Right.
That is almost tenfold on your money. Like that's a really good investment. When you're talking about those kind of dollars, really good investment.
You guys hear me or not?
Now I got you. Yeah,
we got you.
So I couldn't hear what you asked.
Yeah. I was asking you. So, Brent, are you saying you'd invest in the Indiana Fever, or would you just invest in a WNBA team? Doesn't matter who it is.
I would actually end up investing in a WNBA team. That it doesn't matter what it is, because I think I could get I don't know what the rate is now. I can't remember if it was like they're expensive. Like I don't know if it was $20 million or $100 million. But they're expensive. But my point is, if you buy something that low, you can 10 times, 20 times your money potentially down the road. And I think that was the nature of the question, more than, hey, I can buy the Chargers for $4 billion and then sell it for $6 billion, which is still, by the way, a lot of money.
Well, Brent, if you go from 4 to 6, that's not a great percentage, but you made $2 billion if you buy a WNBA team for $200 million. And you're going to take a long time to get to $2.2 billion.
Yeah. You're going to win, but I felt like the nature of Austin's question was more, how do you get from the Lakers guy that went from boom to you got a 70,000% return,
right?
Which again is impossible in anything that's done these days. Back then you could make that big jump. I just don't know if you can invest in something now and get that kind of return. That might be like a record return that's never beat.
Yeah, I mean, $67 million is. It's only 40 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, money is so different.
I
right?
get it,
it's
but,
so different. So
but $67 million to $10 billion.
I mean, look, Shad's a great example. Shad's already 6 times his money on the Jags. $770 million, I think he paid cash for in 2012.
That's ridiculous.
And in a 13-year span, they're worth like $4.2 billion, I think they are. I think it's something like that. That's almost 6 times, a good 5 to 6 times your money already in 12 years. But my point is it going to keep going? It'd be hard to believe it's going up that rate. Again.
I mean, did you see any signs of slowing down?
Well, it's just the saturation in the state. If it doesn't work internationally, then you're not tapped out. You're not going to lose. Mm-hmm. But can you win and can you gain? Like if this experiment doesn't just sell overseas, which it seems like they're pushing so hard because they have the dollars to do it. But sooner or later, it's got to carry its own weight,
Would you buy the Rockies?
Oh yeah, I mean, why not? If you could, I mean, but they're going to be $2 billion too.
So I'm saying, would it be advantageous to buy a team that's
not as good?
Right. And if you have the money, excess money, and you can dump more money into it, and you're willing to do so.
Well, I think that's what they see in the Tampa investment.
Right.
Right, yeah. Austin? I mean, they spend like $70 million on their roster. And if they spend more, then they're going to reap more benefits in terms of jersey sales, going to the playoffs, and all the other things that come with that.
Yeah, I was looking up NBA teams because I think I got inspired because the Lakers deal and everything. And a team that sticks out to me, but it's going to cost you a couple billion. I just looked it up, but they're I think they're number 14 or 15th in terms of the highest valued NBA team. But I would invest in the Spurs simply because of Wemby, and just I feel like they have the culture. I mean, I get Pop, now has kind of passed the reins on to somebody else, but I think if Wemby keeps on growing, not physically, but as a player maturing, dude's a freak of nature, man. I think he's kind of must-see TV. So I would probably invest in the Spurs because they're kind of the middle of the pack right now with a rich history. So, I would invest in them.
You probably would have said the same thing about the Mavericks 2 years ago with Luka.
True. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe the Spurs are going to trade away Wemby to LA or something too.
And then boom, there it goes.
Yeah.
International superstar who looks like he's going to be a top 5 player for the next 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll trade him.
We'll trade him. That's right.
Let's get him out of here.
Okay. Hey, let me do this before I forget to do it and never do it again. I saw this article. Where did I got to find it? All right. Giannis.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if you've seen this by now. But
Brent, I've seen a lot about Giannis.
Yeah. So the talk is that they could trade him, right? And so I think ESPN did an article where you had a bunch of different trade scenarios, and there's going to be a lot here. But they did like a 3-way deal where the Bucks got Wendell Carter and Desanmud, is that even how you say it? Jet Howard. The Magic get Connaughton, Smith, Jalen Smith, Javon Carter, a couple picks. Mm-hmm. The Bulls get Kuzma and Andre Jackson and another pick. I don't know where the hell Giannis lands in this. Where is he?
Yeah. Giannis is back playing in Greece, not even the NBA anymore. What?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he went to the Bulls in that situation. But that doesn't sound like a fun one. That's a hard one too. So yeah, I guess all these have Giannis going to somebody. So the Nets get Kuzma, first round pick, Giannis. The Bucks get Cameron Johnson.
Okay, Cam Johnson, sure.
Do anything for you?
I mean,
that was it.
We gonna throw some first round picks in there for the Bucks?
I know it's is this a?
There has to be first round. Are you reading this right?
Hang on, no, I'm not reading it right. Okay. This was 3. I was like, what? That's what I'm trying to figure it out too. These were 3 picks to build around Giannis. In Milwaukee.
Okay.
My bad.
Giannis for Cam Johnson straight up. Let's see what happens.
No, I think I clicked on the wrong because I must have clicked on the wrong one, which had Giannis going. Okay, it's below it.
Okay, so then
I'll get to this.
That does make sense. You get Kuzma off the books, you bring in Cam Johnson. Okay, got it.
Yeah. But I don't want to do that one. I want to do this one where here's 5 trades for Giannis. All right, the Rockets get Giannis and Pat Connaughton. The Bucks get Sengun, what is it? Connington. Yeah, Connington. Whitmore, Shepard, Landon. Here's your picks: first round pick from the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, but for what
to give up those 2 guys?
2031,
no, 25, 27, and 28.
Okay,
and they get 4 players.
Okay.
Let's see. That one doesn't sound exciting, other than the picks. The Raptors send Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick, and Agbaji. Is that how you say it? And 3 first-round picks.
Okay.
Does it do anything for you?
I mean, Scotty Barnes, he's
former FSU guy.
Yeah, man. He's kind of the enigma of the NBA. No, keep going, please.
All right. Milwaukee gets Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson. Is it Sochan? And how about this? You're going to like this. First round pick in 25, 26, 28, 30, and a swap in 31.
Harrison Barnes. Is this the Mavericks trade?
This would be the Spurs.
Oh, Spurs. Okay. Ooh.
Barnes, Johnson, Sochan, and 4 picks in a swap.
4 picks in a swap.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
You like that one a little more?
I do. Okay, I mean, let me ask you this, and this is super complicated. I'm not sure if it even says it. On these picks, are these the picks from the Spurs, or are these picks from different teams that the Bucks... You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it gets really technical. It's like better of Atlanta and San Antonio pick for one, better of Boston and San Antonio, better of Dallas. So they get the best one.
Okay, but they're still a solid team, so probably picking a little later. Okay, got you.
With the Pistons get Giannis, Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart, and 3 first-round picks.
Okay, would have liked to hear Cade Cunningham instead of Tobias Harris, but okay.
Just okay. And then the last one, I don't think you're going to like this one, but it's a 3-way trade. The Lakers get Draymond Green and Daniel Gafford. The Warriors get Giannis. And
of course,
the Mavs get Gabe Vincent and a first-round pick.
Okay.
The Bucks get Austin Reeves, Podziemski. Am I saying that right?
Okay.
Kuminga, Jackson Davis, Trace Jackson Davis, and Kleber. Along with
Cleaver,
2 first-round picks, 29, 31, and a swap in 30. Holy cow! So 5 players and 2 first-round picks, but they're down the road. It's like 29 and 30.
Yeah. Oh,
I really should watch more NBA so I can pronounce these guys' names.
No, you're good, man. Yeah, I mean, none of these guys are really averaging over 20 points. Maybe Tobias Harris is, but that's about it.
None of those jumped out at me, Austin. Like, oh wow, great, right?
No.
But you're obviously not paying Giannis, and you get the first round picks to build.
Yeah, so it's wild. If you ask me which one I would probably like the best, I probably like the Spurs package the most. And once again, like I'm putting myself as a Bucks fan here of like where I want to see Giannis. Like I want to see Giannis go to San Antonio and play with Wemby. Like I think that'd be cool. Yeah, him and Wemby on the court, like that's
that'd be cool.
See TV, man. That'd be really cool. So that's how I feel about that.
By the way, just to back that up too, you get Harrison Barnes and you get a couple players, and then you get 4 first-round picks in the next 5 years. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, which is that's great, Brent. It's just it's such a crazy. Because here's the thing, and this is I'm not trying to compare Giannis to LeBron when he was in Cleveland, but it's almost like when you have a player that means that much to you and your city, and a player who has stated like, listen, he could have left a long time ago if he wanted to, and he chose to stay. Of Milwaukee, and listen, I love Wisconsin, I love Milwaukee, but come on, man, like the cold and like it's just there's a lot going on there. But like he chose to stay, so his loyalty is unquestioned. But I think if you ask me like what I want to see happen, like what the Bucks are thinking, like the Cavs had LeBron and they wouldn't let him go, right? It's just like you owe it to the city, I feel like, to keep him as much as possible. And they try to build around LeBron. What happens? Becomes a free agent, goes to Miami, and you hate to see it. I understand that, like, yeah, you run the risk of losing Giannis one day and you get nothing for him, and that's going to be a detriment to your team because right now where it stands, you have maybe $17 million to play with. You can't bring back Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis. You can't bring back all your key contributors on this team as well. So it's almost like damned if you do, damned if you don't, Brent. But if I'm Milwaukee, I'm going to try my darndest to try to keep Giannis. I really am.
Really?
Yeah, I am, man. And maybe that's going to come back to bite you, and it probably does. But I just feel like when you have, and I'll call him like a once-in-a-generational player in your city, you do what you got to do to keep him no matter what. And you try your best to build around him. Like there's talks of like Dame Lillard going to Phoenix, and then Phoenix trading Bradley Beal to Milwaukee, getting a little more extra cap. Like I could see that move, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I get what you're saying. I just think I wonder if you ask Cleveland fans now for like the one final year, what would that have been? 2 different times, right? The one final year of LeBron. Would you have rather traded him away, or would you had him for that year? Now, monetarily,
traded him.
Monetarily though, too, like from a business standpoint, that's a mega year that you have with that superstar, right? I mean, tickets, jersey sales, the idea and hope that you could keep them for another year, all that stuff. So it certainly makes sense. But the hindsight of it is like most of the time, probably should have traded them away. If the Red Sox weren't going to keep Mookie Betts, well, trade them away, right? Or whatever it was going to be. As much as you don't want it to happen. So right.
It's I'll say it's real crazy too, Brent, because in Wisconsin, like loyalty is a thing, right? Like I remember when Favre left, and it was a civil war because people were upset about it, and just like nobody could ever fathom Brett Favre leaving the Green Bay Packers. I think with Giannis leaving, like if he and once again, I want Giannis to stay, but like if he goes someplace, then I'll still cheer for him. Like there's no bad blood here because I feel like Giannis has given everything that he can already. There's only so much he can do. Like they tried to build around him, it didn't work. They tried to bring in Doc Rivers, get him out of there, let him go to the Knicks someplace. I don't need Doc Rivers in Milwaukee anymore. But whatever the case may be, like I think the city has embraced Giannis so much where if he chooses to leave, you get a bunch of draft capital for him. I think the city will celebrate and they're going to wish him on his next team.
Yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. Hey, let's before we end the show, let's get to Daniel Griffiths real quick. I want to throw this up. We talked receivers, and you can read all about this at actionsportsjacks.com. We've talked so much about receivers this offseason, and rightfully so, and we're going to continue to do that. But just another note as we talk about Travis Hunter so much is that the Brian Thomas Jr. deal in this is maybe even more paramount, right? Austen, like it's the key to the Jags receiving core is what? Is it Brian Thomas Jr. doing it again, or is it Travis Hunter doing it for a first time? That was such a good question for him not to be able to answer.
No, that was a great question.
Oh, there he is. He's back. Now I got you.
No. I literally said, hey, that's a good question, man. What's more important? I mean, listen, and I get it, and we should be excited for Travis Hunter. Right? Like James Gladstone has done a great job of hyping him up. He's like the, DJ Khaled right now. Like he's getting ready to drop a new album. Like we're excited for Travis Hunter. Let's keep it within reason though, of just how talented and how great Brian Thomas Jr. was last season. And I think for instance, say you get Mason Graham or say you end up getting Ashton Genty in this draft, Brent. Yeah, maybe you need like a 2 wide receiver. Like, are we really stressing that much? Brian Thomas Jr. show, I would have been okay. Yeah, Travis Hunter, he elevates everything, so let's go. So I think it's more important for Brian Thomas Jr. Just because, and I said this before, I spoke on this. You don't need Travis Hunter to come in the league and blow the doors off. If he does, fantastic. If he's, 800, 900, maybe 1,000 yards, cool. But what you do need is Brian Thomas Jr. to feed off that stellar rookie year. So I think Brian Thomas Jr., even though he's the quieter one, even though he's probably underneath the radar a little more, maybe fantasy people aren't really getting a vibe on him right now, doesn't matter. I think that they need him to have another big year and everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, it's I think it's a question that I really haven't really thought much about, but I think could go either way because I tend to agree with you, Austen. Like, I want to know Brian Thomas Jr. is a star. I think he is. I want to know. But isn't it important to know that Travis Hunter is a star? They just traded up a bunch to get him at number 2. And he can be like an ultimate star in terms of the brand and the tickets and everything else. Probably even more upside there than BTJ, with all due respect. So I think you could go either way on it. Obviously, you'd like them both to be good. And I think the floor is that they're both going to be good. The question here is, where's that ceiling in this specific season for those guys? Be fun to watch. All right, Austen, have a good one, man. We'll get back with you tomorrow to end the week here on the Brent and Austen Show. Have fun down there in South Florida.
All right, man. Sounds good. See you guys tomorrow.
All right. We'll see who wins maybe wins the NBA championship if Oklahoma City gets it done. And we'll talk more about that game and put a bow on the week tomorrow, 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. Brent and Austen Show, Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Fleet and Footy coming up at 2 o'clock today. We'll talk Armada. We have 2 Armada games Friday and Saturday at 7 o'clock on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 Network. Talk a little Jacksonville Sharks tomorrow as well. We have those guys on Saturday. And, of course, Shark Bites tomorrow and Saturday on the network as well. Old School Kingfish Shootout replays tonight at 10 o'clock on actionsportsjacks.com. Have a great Thursday, everybody. Motivational talk from James Gladstone, the Jags GM, and now all the rookies out there as well. Good to pop in quick with Caleb Brandt. So we'll have more of that tonight, CBS 47, Fox 30 on Action Sports Jax. Let's take a break. Brent and Austen Show on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. We'll go to break with this, and when we come back, a little bit more with us. Great scene, man. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wait a minute.
Atta baby.
There we go. We're not going to break just. Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between, juggling my show Jag Social to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game. But with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Welcome inside the Armor Guard exterior and gutter helmet showroom. There's a lot going on, like glass exteriors, replacement windows, and down there we have the retractable screens and awnings, plus hurricane protection. Let's talk more about those gutters, and to do that we bring in Kevin. He's the owner, he's the expert. Why Gutter Helmet?
Well, Gutter Helmet is truly the only maintenance-free product. It lets the trash and debris go on the ground, the water wraps around and goes inside. Unlike filters, they sit on top of the gutters, and the trash and debris build up on top of filters, which requires maintenance. With Gutter Helmet, we're going to keep you off the ladder, the most dangerous thing in your garage. With Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. So get off the ladder and put on the helmet. Gutter Helmet.
Get a free estimate at gutterhelmetofnorthflorida.com. You can also call 904-762-7779.